2, 1. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be. The boys here in I Satan, which is like one of the most deathcore, black and deathcore friendly names I think I've heard in a long time, if not Symphonic Deathcore. It's a great name. Welcome to another episode of the Anatomy Crosscast. We have a returning guest after what has been 2 fucking years or so, man. 2 years, or at least it's felt like that. So I can't exactly
It's
confirm.
been a year and a half. It's been almost 2 years. I'm
Almost
about to
two
be.
years. It might as well be 2 years, bro. But welcome
Yeah.
back, Donovan. It's good to see you again. I see you've changed your hair up a little bit. We actually get to see you this time because I don't even remember. I think the last time when we did DT, the initial session for DT, both you and Blake, like you guys both had your cameras off. But maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly.
I think I had my camera on. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Mm,
If you did, then so be it, right? But it's good to be back after 2 weeks of uploading what was 4 different episodes that were just saved away in storage as I was making a transition from my old hermit remote call center job, just simping for this company. And, obviously the company shall not be named, but I was with them for way too long and in one of their lowest points where they were not even able to provide us like 40 hours a week. It was not a great thing. And when you need 100 hours every 2 weeks to make ends meet, it's like, that's not good. So I finally made my transition into a more live setting. That company shall also not be named, but they're a little bit bigger. Um, and that has definitely been exhausting, right? Just working public jobs, working with people, and working a job to where we seldom get breaks. So that's been
mm,
fun. That's been
yeah.
exhausting. And today ends a chapter I thought would be prevailing for a little bit more time. That need not be discussed as well, just because it's a little bit more of like a private thing, and I don't want to disclose. I just wish not to disclose the information on that. It sucked that it had to end. But nonetheless, we continue moving forward here on the 21st of September. Again, my name is Sean Cross. I'm your host. This is the Anatomy Crosscast, and tonight's guest project, the entirety of the project so far, this band project, that band project being I Satan, we have the entirety with us tonight. And I am very honored to be welcoming onto the show for the first time Mr. Alex Nourse, as this gentleman not only has been working with I Satan, but he also helped Worm Shepherd out a little bit with their new EP. He helped them out with the drum efforts on that, which I thought was super, super cool. And it's just a great honor to be in touch with such a good drummer. And I have no idea, but I still remember telling the boys about you being like, yo, if y'all need a drummer, this guy's pretty fucking good, despite the projects that he was already involved in, right? Nonetheless, you killed it.
Thank
Depending,
you.
of course, all the efforts that you did put into what is now The Sleeping Sun, out now through Unique Leader Records, a 5-track, I think like almost an hour's worth of black
It's
metal
like
and black and
30
deathcore.
minutes. Yeah, it's 30
Yeah.
minutes. It's longer than a lot of albums I listen to.
Yeah. No, it's insane. And I love that The Sleeping Sun will end up being an appetizer as we wait for their next full-length record, in which they've been going through a lot of changes recently. That
Yep.
is not my place really to disclose or discuss, but nonetheless. Oh, thank you. Mail. We love mail. um, but nonetheless, we are here tonight with I Satan, which is a new black and deathcore, symphonic black and death metal deathcore project. Definitely an addition that will be coming to the Ignite the Church playlist on Spotify. All my playlists on Spotify. If those of you from the Sean Cross channel are coming over to listen to this as well, thank you. Welcome back to the show after such a long time. But of course, being that we are almost 60 episodes in, of course, disclaimer for those of you who haven't listened before, we will be having the first half of this show tonight be talking about the musicians in session. Now, with Donovan Parchment already basically telling the story prior, basically Donovan, when we do get to you in session, I'll just be having you kind of fill in the dots as far as like what's happened between our last session and now, if you wish to. But other than that, maybe there are updates to your favorite bands or artists. Maybe there are new lessons you've learned. Anything that you feel might be necessary for returning commentary would be much appreciated because
All
we
right.
yeah, awesome. I'm happy to hear you're open to that.
Um,
um because
yeah.
like the thing is too, just keeping all that in mind, I remember one of the very first episodes we did for this show, which was scrap because it was just lost to space and time. My editor just managed to lose the file. After that initial session that we did, we then did a podcast session with Warm Shepherd, that being Brandon Singleton, who is no longer part of the project, Trey and Devin. We talked to all of them. Like literally the only piece of the puzzle would have been Ryan and Leo, but they were just preoccupied at the time. And I felt bad because despite not officially having Devin's story on public domain on the show, um, we didn't decide. I just didn't end up doing that, and I kind of felt like that was a big blunder on my part, just not having him retell his story. So we're gonna correct that tonight with Donovan. Once we do get to you and revolve around to you in the people part of the podcast, anything you want to talk about, really, you may. So we have the first half of the podcast session. That's for the people. That's going freaking David Attenborough, not Geo. You know, look at Alex Nourse in the wild. Those feet are just like fucking machine guns, aren't they? They're incredible. Look at the way they just, it's like a fucking ostrich, mate, isn't it? Isn't it? And then after that, after we get ourselves introduced to Alex Nourse, as he is another project. So going into the near future, I would love to interview him on behalf of those sessions with the other respected, like other correlating members. Um, After the first half of the podcast, we will go ahead and dive into the second half, which will be talking about their debut EP, which I feel bad because I haven't had the time to listen to it just yet. But after all, just like The Sleeping Sun, I'm sure it's going to be an appetizer. So by all means and measures, I will be eventually listening to it when I have the time, and I cannot wait to listen to it with the features on the EP in mind, or just Donovan coming back. It's a good time to be alive in my world, just the people that I've gotten to know. But in the second half of the session, we will be talking about the band, how it got established. We will be doing track by track lyrical analysis for their new EP, the Eld Testament, right?
Teltament. It's not.
Teltament.
Yeah.
I was close. I was close because I know it's a Latin translation of the Elder Testament.
Of the Old Testament.
The Old Testament. I was okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's been a long time.
it's just yeah. So the the Eld, and Teltament back. So my uncle has a first edition of the King James Bible, like when it was first released back in 16, whatever the fuck.
The uncensored
And
version.
yeah, and the pages in that are basically in English that is broken, very broken.
Right.
So, I decided to name the EP because it has a giant cover on it that says the Eld Teltament for the Old Testament book. So I wanted to basically use that. So
It does indeed look like it could be some sort of like religious scripture. So now I truly understand why you ended up making that the cover. And I think that works really well with the aesthetic and most likely the contents that will be discussed in that EP. So again, in that second half, we will be asking them all the clickbait questions that you guys would want to ask. We'll be doing track by track lyrical analysis for the Eld Teltament. And then afterwards, we will be discussing the near future of this project as they continue to climb the ranks in the what I call the Ignite the Church community. So, for starters, gentlemen, to Alex, Donovan, and Matt, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. Just hanging out after work. Just, yeah. It's
yeah,
been a long, long day. I sit in the back of a warehouse making engine parts for race cars, and it's like the same thing all day. So if
I've just
anyone's
got back
familiar
from
with it,
McDonald's.
yeah, if anyone's familiar with it, they're lifters, and I just sit in the back of a warehouse making them all day. So, but we're just hanging out.
I mean, I wish
Yeah.
I was making fucking sports car engine parts and parts for sports cars, dude. I fucking like I'm planning to make biscuits for a living, bro. And like that's that's all I
Yeah,
need to say. But
I
the
mean,
hours are there.
yeah, the hours are there. It's full time, so I've been getting pretty decent paychecks compared to my fast food job I was working before.
Right. No,
And
that's always
yeah,
good.
it is good. It's good right now.
Sweet. Yeah, and I mean, as long as you feel that it's sustainable and it's something that will provide a foundation for all of your creative mediums as well. Because let's face it, we all kind of deal with that struggle of trying to get a good financial backbone to kind of provide a spine for our creative mediums, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's always good when you can have hope in that job that it will help you kind of move forward with your creative medium simultaneously. But I'm glad you're all doing well. I'm glad you are excited for this session for what it's worth after what was it like one or two rescheduling so far.
yeah, something like that. It's
I've
all
been
good though.
I've
Life
been
happens.
life happens, yes, but also I used to be a lot more consistent. So I'll do apologies that it took us so long, ladies and gentlemen, to get to this session. Not that I announced it or anything, because I do plan to do that in the future on my cross core Patreon. That way you guys just know kind of ahead of time and have that deeper level of transparency that isn't so incredibly embarrassing when I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna get fucking Left to Suffer on the show soon, whatever the band might be, and then like we have to reschedule 3 times. It's just embarrassing. Life does happen, but it's like when that consistency, right, and that the ability to actually attend to that is kind of plucked away. It's like, man, should I even be listening to the show? And for that, I completely understand. Also wanted to provide a brief shout out to Donovan himself for what will be the intro for this episode, because we weren't able to do that the first time. So I look forward to getting his iconic vocal spectrum.
Oh, it's made. It's
It's
made,
made.
and it's all that stuff, and you won't have it. And it's very interesting because I was watching the playlist you sent me of all the others, and I was just like, okay, so they're all pretty much, I really gotta do some standout stuff. So I incorporated. I'm trying to patent this vocal technique that I pretty much have mastered that you don't hear very often.
Yeah.
So you'll hear it.
I look forward to that, man, and I appreciate you for being willing to participate in that podcast intro as putting myself on the line, being absolutely transparent. I think I remember with the DT session too, you did end up sending me an intro or something of that similar nature. Maybe you weren't able to. I remember I fucked up with that first one. So if that was the case, if I am remembering that correctly, if that is canon per se, I am grateful that you decided to do a second version of the intro. I think
Oh
back then I just didn't have the instrumental for it, so I was like, I don't even know what to
yeah.
fucking do. Like, it was a struggle for a little bit, but then Agung of Makla came through, bro. He came through and just delivered this crazy chaotic intro. Only 10 seconds, bro. It's TikTok friendly for fuck's sake. And he just brought that to the table, bro. And I can never be more appreciative of something that is as it has such a variety to it. It can apply to most metal subgenres that we all love. It's got a little bit of tech in there. It's got a little bit of slam, deathcore. Mostly it does sound like alien deathcore, but that also works because the main picture, the main cover of this fucking show is supposed to be this weird, strange alien entity who's like just trying to expand upon his knowledge, expand perspective. Because amongst other things, that's one of the goals of the show is to just learn as many stories as possible. And one day, people, one day, the underground band that you happen to listen to once will be on this fucking show, and you're gonna be like, dude, this guy does way too much, but I like it. And then you'll just have this massive lineup of different bands you can get into personally and then listen to their music, or the other way around. It's really up to you. That's the fun of it. And that's kind of like the David Attenborough aspect of it too. Is just like constant documentation and just getting as many smaller bands and bigger bands as possible. Just all the bands, period, that I like. Getting them on the show, being passionate about their music, being passionate and wanting to get to know them personally, and just continuing on from there and seeing how people like it. But as we kind of descend into the show, without me taking too long to get the first segment chopped up and just check, boom, let's move on. Let's go ahead and dive into the people part of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. As we say over on the Sean Crouch channel. Basically, all three of you boys, what I would like you to do is just pretend you're kind of in elementary school again. Why? Don't worry about it. And basically just pretend that you're standing up before the class that is our audience, or I guess me being the teacher or some stupid shit. Maybe I'm like a fucking washed up substitute teacher, and I'm just like, okay, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you. La 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 la. Let's move on. Except I care. I'm not. I might be the substitute teacher, but I'm the cool one, I think. So let's go ahead and start off. Whoever wants to go may go first. Tell us your name, tell us your role in the band, and I mean, basically any elementary shit you can think of. Like, I grew up in a sunny little town called fucking Somethingville, Tennessee, and when I'm not doing music, I like to do this and this and this. Just literally any of that you feel is relevant, but that can be compressed. And then after that, we'll be going to the semester portion of it. You have that whole quarter of a year to really, well, whole half of the year, more or less, to kind of get yourself more thoroughly introduced. I think you guys understand the analogy, but whoever wishes to go first may take it away.
Okay, well, I'll go first since I'm the front man. My name is Donovan Parchment. I'm 18 years old, and I'm the vocalist of I Satan and King Malice, who is currently not moving an inch, but it's a band.
Yep.
And uh, to be honest, I'm really just happy to be doing vocals for a project again. Really, I'm really happy that like this band gives me the same sort of spark for inspiration and stuff like that I had when I was in Disembodied Tyrant. It gives me like that sort of like as a songwriter or a lyricist, it gives me that sort of, oh yeah, I can't wait to tell this kind of story through the music, which is something that is very hard for me to kind of feel when it comes to music, and especially music that I'm writing, is that I kind of it takes a while for me to build a inspiration to write without it being just sounding generic. And so I'm very glad that I equipped the Avengers to help write one of some of the greatest material, some of the best material that I've heard and is coming. So
Sweet. Awesome, man. And again, it's great to have you back on after such a long time. It feels like a long lost friend. You and Devin both, bro. Like, of course, we have other friends in the scene like Derek Connolly of Nithful. I have become good friends with Awakened Providence, the Archaic Epidemic. Plenty of other projects, Sorrow Eater, which is also hand in hand with Hunt the Dinosaur. You got bands like Lucretia, whichever way you want to pronounce it, which is literally just anime themed metalcore with a whole bunch of sweet picking guitar solos and shit. There are so many friends that we've made all this time, and now getting closer and closer to 60 episodes. If not, this could be episode 60. I have no clue because it's been so long since I've checked the Spotify for podcasters thing of mine. It's been a long time, and it's been a long time coming. But amongst other people, Donovan, I am incredibly honored to welcome you back. It's good to see that you're making music again. It's good to see that you have that drive to just create art, be an artist, be transparent, tell your story, tell other people's stories, and just provide your perspective, right? Because that's the whole monster thing. That's the whole monster cover again, is just perspective. So when we have raw, pulping perspective, it's like perspective is diamonds. right? And that's going to be a future Blind Without a Failure song because knowing people's stories, knowing how people see the world around them, knowing what they prioritize and what they try to separate from themselves to not be so stressed out, just psychology, right? Psychology as well as their history is always fun to learn. So thank you for returning. Um, Matt, I would like to go ahead and
Yeah,
have you
I'll go
introduce
next, I
yourself
guess.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go next because I was sort of the founding member of the band along with Don.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, my story is probably quite different from them. I grew up in Prague and then I moved to the UK about 7 years ago now. I've literally just moved into university yesterday, so I hope I make it through the call without disconnecting.
Okay.
um, but yeah, so I play guitar. I've been playing guitar for quite a while now. I started on an acoustic guitar that my mom got me for my 10th birthday. And then I guess I started to get into metal because I was watching, I think it was a Minecraft video, and um, there was a reference to Master of Puppets by Metallica, and so I just went to listen to that song, and then from that point it was the only song that I listened to for about a month. So that great song. So obviously I started to learn that on guitar. I got an electric guitar. Um, Started getting sort of deeper into like metalcore and stuff like that, and then eventually deathcore even. And I was a bit worried for a while because I was like, oh, when is this gonna stop? When is the music gonna be so heavy that it just can't get any heavier? But
Yeah.
deathcore seems to be my thing where I settled in. So I started a YouTube channel covering songs and things like that. Um, my most viewed one, I think, is Bratva by Slaughter to Prevail, about 30,000 views
Mm,
currently. That was a cover I did before the song even released, so I think that's why it was so popular.
that's cool.
Um, yeah, I'm currently on my way to get 1,000 subscribers, so that's kind of nice.
Dude, congrats. Honestly,
Yeah,
congrats.
thank you, thank you. So, and then I guess should I get into how the band started in this segment?
So basically, we will be waiting to do that after
Okay.
basically Alex introduces himself. This is definitely more of like the elementary, like introduce yourself to
Right.
the
Yeah.
class part. That way, it's a little bit simpler. That way, everybody's like, okay, Alex is drummer, Matt is guitarist,
Right.
Donovan
Yeah. Yeah.
frontman. You know what I mean? More of like a casual warm up intro. But we will definitely be we will be diving head fucking first into all of that in due time. So not to worry. And I do appreciate the lore that you've already provided so far.
Okay. So I
Alex. Oh,
suppose. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say. I suppose I write the guitars for the for I Satan and
right.
sometimes drum, sometimes bass, all that.
Cool.
But yeah, go on.
Fantastic. All right. Last but not least, we have Mr. Alex Nourse. Drum roll, quite literally. Take it away, sir.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my name's Alex. I play drums for a lot of bands. Um, play drums for Ice Satan, King Malice. Me and Don both are in that project. Play drums for my local band, Forever We Roam. We do some shows. We got an EP we're working on. Some cool like progressive metalcore. We dive into a different kind of genres and whatnot. We have electronic elements, orchestral elements. It's cool stuff, and we're female fronted, which seems to be quite a newer thing popping up. Having more women in the metal scene, it's awesome. Our bassist is also female too,
Sweet.
so it sets us apart from most of the bands we play with and shows. And I have a couple other smaller bands that aren't super active right now. Abyssal Plane, which is my deathcore project I started up last year. And then I have a hardcore slash punk rock band called Columbus Day. Right now, we're gonna change the name once we start doing stuff again to Switchblade Architect. So
Ooh.
cooler sounding name. And then see who else. I guess, yeah, and I do the session drums for Worm Shepherd, which is sick. You'll hear some of my drumming, some of my drum parts on their most recent EP, The Sleeping Sun, and I might keep doing more drums for Worm Shepherd. Not too sure, but we'll see in the future.
Yeah.
But busy, busy, busy. So
Busy.
lots of music I've recorded this year. Did some session work. Did some lots of shows. I'm just dipping my toes into the local scene and playing shows and getting used to traveling around in the live setting. I think I've got somewhere close to like, I don't know, 10 shows so far. And I'm playing another one soon with a fill-in right now. And it's gonna be fun. It's cool.
Badass, dude. Keep him busy. And
Oh
from what
yeah.
I've from what I've understood, man, when you're busy and when you're not working, it's like work, music, work, music. That just compels you and forces you into a mindset of constantly getting better at what you do. And
Yeah.
there's a reason that bigger projects like Warm Shepherd have reached out to you. I've watched your drum covers, and I still remember the day when I think it was you covering, I think, The River of Knives by Worm Shepherd. If
I I don't think I did. You might have seen my Pain Remains cover, maybe,
yes, I think it was
because
that.
that one's almost at 10,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it seemed it reached out to a lot of people when I first dropped it. I'm like, wow, okay, I guess Pain Remain album covers and stuff like that seem to be the way to go when you're trying to reach out to a newer audience. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm sure it was a challenge to fucking cover that song, bro.
at the time, yeah. I've gotten a little bit better in the meantime, and I've also kind of getting stuck into a rut a little bit with my playing, but working hard to get myself pulled back out of that, get back up to speed with stuff, because the new I Satan stuff we are writing is going to be crazier than the EP is, and
Ooh.
the Worm Shepherd stuff and all these things, it's just going to be getting heavier and crazier, and I got to keep up with it,
Yeah.
mostly with whatever Matt programs, but game is game.
Don't call
Right.
me out.
I gotta call you out, man. You gotta give me some mercy, please.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Because even the most insane shit on the EP, Matt had nothing to do with that. I was like, hey,
I
you know
know.
what? This sounds cool.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna do it.
it's
Matt
both of them.
translated it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
both torture him, but
Yeah.
like the ending of Stillborn Angel was all written by Don, and he was like, if you can't play it, it's all good. Just do this instead. I was like, nah, I'm gonna play it. He's like, bro, what the hell? You actually did it. I'm like, kind of. I'm like, it's rough, but
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
I did
because I
it.
wasn't expecting because he records on an acoustic drum set, so I was like, okay, this is literally almost impossible to play on an acoustic drum set.
And
Not
that's
So
quite.
why Alex Nourse will be known as one of the greats in due
mm,
time, alongside drummers like fucking Bryce Butler, Austin Archie,
I
the dude
love
from
him.
Infinite Annihilator. I know you're going to be one of the greats. I can already see it. And I'm just glad I get to catch you at an earlier stage when you have the
Yeah.
time to talk to losers like me.
Oh man. No, you gotta stay humble, man. I'm sure I'd probably be talking to everyone.
Yeah,
Just like,
talking to everybody all the time. And you're going to be
yeah,
like,
like
wait,
this is
hold on.
yeah, like this is like one of my dreams to like do music for a living, and I'm dipping my toes into it. Like
And I'm
having
manifesting
Trey,
this right now, bro. You're going to do
yeah,
it.
it was so funny. It was actually so funny. Little story about Worm Shepherd is I was supposed to fill in on drums for their last tour they did back about a year ago on their traders run all the way through the US. My first tour ever would have been a month long, but I just started my senior year of high school and I just couldn't manage to do that. So I was like, I don't think I can, but I know like I could play it all. I could play the set. I know I can do it. And it almost happened, but it didn't.
Ooh.
And the night before, I was talking to my band and I was like, yo, they might need a drummer for something, right? Because they can't like do these tours without a drummer and play backing tracks. Literally 2 hours later, I get like a bunch of notifications on Instagram, like Worm Shepherd, like this, like that, like for like DMs. Like I'm like, oh, probably just clearing
They're
out
trying to bait you, bro.
notifications. No, and then I see he's like typing. I'm like, okay, typing. And I'm like, okay. So I just like put my phone down, then like I hear it again. It's like 11:30 at night. And I look, it's this long paragraph from the band page, and it's like, yo, we want you to fill in. I'm like, what? I can't believe it. I was up all night. I had 3 hours of sleep and I went to school the next day and I was like, I gotta get this situated. It's like I could maybe do this. And like my school was on board with it because it's a smaller school. They were like, hey, we want all of our students to like achieve their dreams and success. And if this is what you want to do, we want you to do it. And I'm like, sure. But then it was like, oh, I gotta talk to my mom about it. So I told my mom, and she was like, I don't think you should because this, and that. And I'm just like, fair. So I laid off, but
Oh
oh, I hate
no.
it. I hate it, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
To
But
be
I'm
completely honest with you, I have no idea who their drummer was on that tour. And to be honest, I hope he never sees this. I really hope he
hmm,
doesn't because
was it rough?
I couldn't tell what fucking songs they were playing, bro. Like,
Really? Wow.
um,
Oh man. I mean, it was a last second thing too.
it
Maybe he
was,
had to
yeah.
learn everything, but I'm not him. I don't know his story. I don't know his situation,
That's
but
very true.
yeah, I'm just happy that Trey and Devin got someone to pop in like last minute like that
Yeah.
was. It was like a month in advance. And yeah, but I just wish it was me. It would have been so sick. It would have been such a great opportunity, but
And I would have gone to meet you in person, bro. I'd be like, oh, who the fuck is
oh, I
this
would have met so many people in person. It would be incredible. So many people in different states and like,
dude?
oh,
Right.
so many people, man. The internet's such a great place and
It
the
can
metal
be.
scene is amazing too. It's like so many people you can connect with.
Yeah.
And like if I were to go out on the road and be like, hey, I'm going here, here, and there, and people are like, yo, I live there. I'm coming to your show. I'd be like, sick, all right. And meet people, that'd be awesome. It'd be a dream come true.
Maybe
I've
next
been
time.
Yeah, I'm hoping for tours next year. Like my band Forever We Roam, we might have something in the works, little like Southeast tour, something with some friends of ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I've got and the nice thing about being in six bands, kind of six bands, is that I've got six options for something to go well and something to get me and whoever I'm in the band with out there and
Yeah.
on our feet and rolling. And
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
I imagine that Ice Satan's going to be doing like some tours and shows relatively soon, more sooner than later.
Manifest that shit, bro. It's all about manifestation. And after that, well, it's hard fucking work, you know?
yeah.
And
Oh,
not that I know how that is, because like I only got one song out, but from all 60 episodes or close to 60 episodes that we've had, whether with bands like Sulfur, For the Fallen Dreams, fucking Sorrow Eater, plenty of bands who have had the opportunity to tour, they've all said the same thing. If you work hard to manifest it, it will happen. So I honestly that's a pretty organic segue into learning Alex's story. So what I want you to do, Mr. Nourse, your last name is pronounced Nourse, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I thought I wanted to make sure that way you're like it's
Yeah, it's all
actually
good.
Nourse or
Yeah,
something.
no, no, the U throws everyone off, but just say Norse like you would like Norse mythology. It's all
Yeah,
good.
which is so fucking on brand, bro, for Black and Deathcore. I love it. And I think that's
Yeah.
why people are gonna know you in the future. They're like, oh yeah, Alex Nourse, the fucking Viking drummer, bro. The fucking Viking ferocity drummer, bro. This dude is rocking the Appalachian, well, not the Appalachian Mountains. That's here in the United States. He's rocking the
Well, I mean,
fucking.
I live next to him, so it makes sense either
That's
like
fair.
still. So,
Are you Tennessee local or
North Carolina.
North Carolina? I was so fucking close to you, bro.
Yeah,
I was
right
living over
there.
in Tennessee. God damn it, bro. But that's besides the point. Alex, what I want you to do is take the helm. Take the helm of the podcast. Take it into your own hands. And I want you to start from the earliest point you feel is relevant to your story, to your legacy as a killer drummer, participating in these 6 different band projects, as well as
Yeah.
being offered, the opportunity with Worm Shepherd and stuff, being a part of Ice in the band at hand that we're talking about
Hmm.
now. I want you to start from the earliest point possible and tell us your story, man. Take it away.
All right. So, like most people who are drummers out there, start at a young age, banging on pots and pans with spoons. I was about 4 years old when I got my first little baby kit and I rocked that thing to shreds. I broke almost everything on there. And you know, being a kid, you bounce through different things, lost interest in it, got interest into stuff like skateboarding and BMX and doing like scooter tricks and stuff. And then when I was about 11, no, I'd say even 10, I was on YouTube, and I grew up with YouTube. Like I had access to a computer since I was like 3. So I'd watch like YouTube and listen to rock music and stuff like Linkin Park, Breaking Benjamin, then like later on like Avenged Sevenfold, Killswitch Engage to like Behemoth, Belphegor, Rings of Saturn, Aversion's Crown, Worm Shepherd, Lorna Shore, just diving into that later on. But started playing actual drums when I was about 11, got a kid for Christmas in 2016, um, and just been working at that since then. I've got into like EDM music, tried playing drums to that. Matt McGuire, I think, yes, I think that's his name. Found him on YouTube doing like these EDM covers. I wanted to do that, but then I like rediscovered metal, got into Slipknot and like Killswitch Engage, like I said, Avenged Sevenfold, and found out about like double bass. I remember watching drum covers. I'm like, that's cool. Like I didn't know you can use both your feet to play the bass drums like that. I was like, I need to get a double pedal. And like a year and a half later, I got a double pedal, started ripping stuff like I learned one of my first songs was Nightmare from Avenged Sevenfold and Silvera from Gorgira were like my first 2 double kick songs. And then it dove into like the blast beats, and I was like, that's wild. I want to learn how to do that. And since I was like 13, like 12, 13 years old, I've been practicing blast beats and fast double bass. And I was about 14 when I started filming myself and making like progress videos and sharing to YouTube. Like one of my first drum covers was a Carnifex cover of Dark Days in 2019, and I've just been at it since then. And around that time too, I just joined my first band, Columbus Day. We were all 14, 15 years old, just playing like Blink 182 and Fall Out Boy, and then it moved on to like other stuff. And then my next band I started up, I believe, was Abyssal Plane, because I was like, well, Columbus Day's cool, the music's cool, but I want to play deathcore. I want to play death metal. It's what I practice all the time. It's what I listen to all the time. And started that up, and we've got nothing. We've made songs and scrapped them because they're boring. We wanted to go up to like the standard of today's modern deathcore, and we just haven't done too much with it. And then I was asked to fill in for Forever We Roam at like a local show, and they liked me, who I was as a person, who I was as a drummer. I learned their 10 song set in 2 weeks, and they were like, yeah, you're in the band. And then, do you want to be in the band? I was like, yeah, sure. I think it'd be cool. Be like, it doesn't matter. We were gonna get you in the band anyways. I'm like, okay. I wasn't gonna say no, but it's whatever.
Gotta
And
stay
I've been
humble.
doing that. Yeah. And been doing that. And then I think the next thing, like I've got my name around a little bit on the internet, and the next thing was I remember Don following me on Instagram, and I was like, Donovan Parchment. I'm like, looks familiar because I already knew who Disembodied Tyrant was because they follow me on Instagram. Don't know which of the people follow me on there, but they're like, yeah, I like your drumming and stuff. And I remember Don telling me a little story about how um I was one of the options to become Disembodied Tyrant's drummer. I just had no mics and recording, and it was an online thing. And I was like, they they were looking for someone who can record remotely, and I just couldn't at the time. And I had no idea until I joined this band. And yeah, I've just been playing blast beats and double bass and just been doing that. And um yeah, and Worm Shepherd, I met all of Worm Shepherd on their part 2 tour with the breathing process. Shout out to
Ah,
them, awesome guys. Um and like I just got in contact with them. Just I'd like make drum covers, and they were like, yeah, this guy's sick. And then, I got friends with Brandon when he was in the band at the time, friends
Yeah.
with Trey. I'm still friends with Trey. Love that guy. He he's really a legend. He's given me like a platform for me to stand on, putting my name out there for the Worm Shepherd EP, letting me help out with the drums, and just like even considering me to fill in, play drums for. It's just unbelievable to me still. I can't believe it. And then not long after that whole thing with all of that, um actually a little bit before, Don was like, "Hey, do you want to play drums for King Malice?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we did that, started that going. Does that make sense? Started that going? No,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, I got
Okay,
you.
it makes sense for now. But um but we started doing that, and then um our main songwriter and guitarist of that, Joseph, his hard drive got corrupted and we lost like all of the progress we made starting that, which is why we are stagnant now because we actually have nothing. We have one song out, Biting the Hand of God. And that's all we can do because we lost everything.
Mm,
Besides like the final like MIDI program drum stuff for the first EP. But we can't do anything with it. So, but we're trying. And then Don was like, "Yo, since that band's stagnant, do you want to help with the drums on Ice Satan? Because I keep writing these parts and I can't really play them. I don't want to." I was like, "I'll try it." And I listened to Dream Eater. I'm like, "Yeah, this is crazy. And this is good. This is like like blackened death metal at its finest." And I was like, "All right, sick." And then he sent me the other stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, here's like Stillborn Angel, and the ending of it is like the crazy stuff I wrote. I learned it in like 9 weeks or something, right, Don?"
It took me
To
like I came up with the concept of it in under like an hour, but to play it took me like shit 2 weeks, 3 weeks of like nonstop practice. Like 2 weeks as in like if I never stopped, but over the course of like a month it was just like okay, blast and then gravity, blast. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it
going
was.
from those 16th notes to 30-second notes, it's rough, but I've managed to pull it off, and we got it recorded and sounding nicely thanks to Matt, who did the mixing and mastering for the EP and programmed my um very, very, I'd say like difficult attempts at recording the EP because playing these things programmed and recorded on MIDI and shifted around, throwing it down on an acoustic kit, it's hard, but we managed, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I think it sounds good, and a lot of people think so as well, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, it's honestly unbelievable how he managed to go one to one with some of the shit that Matt programmed. Like I
For me, I just click, and like I don't know how you can even play that.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, you found someone crazy enough to learn how to do it, I guess.
and if
yeah,
anything too, I would say that, but without even listening to the EP yet, being that you guys are saying that it is so nuts, I Satan will always be one of those projects that really compelled you forward. It was a challenge. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
the most important
100%.
thing about being a creator is running into something that's challenging for you, because once you conquer that obstacle, you can continue moving forward and you can move on to bigger, better, more challenging shit, and you just keep doing that. And that's the process of honing your craft. And then over time, you realize what doesn't make you comfortable about it. You realize how you want to make it your own thing, and that is how you distinguish drummer to drummer, even if also there is their name. It's like you have your style. And as long as you keep on releasing music, people will understand the type of drummer that you are. Because again, you play in 6 different fucking projects, dude. Like
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
It's just
it's wild.
insane. But like we said before, and like we agreed upon, it constantly challenges you. It constantly keeps you on your toes, quite literally, with the fucking kick kick pedal.
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes and heels, and the more you keep doing that, the bigger and better you're gonna get, and I know you are. On another note, how the fuck do I have more subscribers than you on your channel, bro? Like, everybody go fucking subscribe
I
to Alex
I
Nourse right fucking now. This is like actually infuriating because I just do clickbait reaction shit. I do maybe a podcast. I do vocal covers. I don't fucking kick and grind on the fucking blast beat pedal and all this other shit. Sorry, I'm not a tech guy. I am not a
yeah, good.
drummer. Go fucking subscribe to this guy right now. Everybody who's listening, Alex Nourse with a U in there. Go subscribe right now. Because I swear, if this dude continues to be at 461 subscribers by the end of the year, I'm quitting. I'm done.
Wait,
Like,
you're only at
that's
461?
what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
What
I
the
guess.
fuck?
That is ridiculous.
I
That's
mean,
ridiculous.
the Pain Remains cover really helped. I got like 70 subscribers in like a week posting that video.
I
But
mean, that's
it's been
good.
a slow increase. Um, I guess I play it's hard playing such a niche genre of music and songs. And when I did start my YouTube channel, the original goal, excuse me, the original goal was like, I watch all these drum covers on YouTube, but there's songs I want to see people play that just aren't being shared. And I wanted to I literally went through, looked up like drum cover of, I don't know, a Virgin's Crown, whatever song, and there's like no drum covers out there for like a Virgin's Crown, or there isn't like enough drum covers out there for like cattle decapitation. I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start doing drum covers for these bands and just do that because it's the music I enjoy. And it's just that the views don't always come in sometimes. Sometimes they do. Sometimes something will go get a little bit of a spike, and but I mean a
I'm
lot of it is
disappointed in y'all
just
on YouTube, man. Go fucking give this guy some love. I swear to God. Like, this guy is gonna be one of the greats. I know that for fucking sure. And this dude, need I not say what we already said on the fucking show? Go subscribe to his channel, please. This guy deserves a lot more love than he's getting right now. And he does like so much shit too, like a Virgin's Crown, tied apart,
that
analepsy,
that was
cattle
actually
decap.
the session song I did recently.
Oh shit,
Um,
really?
yeah, I kind of wrote and recorded the drums, and that video is the studio live one take of me recording that song. So if you look it up on Spotify or YouTube, that's the same drums you'll hear. And yeah, I just threw that up. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Also, I
Um,
didn't realize how much Worm Shepherd songs you've covered by now.
yeah, there's a bit, and I have a lot more. I have two videos I'm sitting on. I'm not gonna spoil them, but yeah, if Trey's listening to this,
Trey,
he
listen.
he, he knows. He knows. I'm waiting for the message saying like, yo, we're gonna post these because they might not get shared for me. They might go on the unique leader or the band page. I don't know. It
That
was
would be
Trey's.
pretty fucking sick, dude.
I'm sitting on them and I'm like really anxious to release them because they've turned out pretty well. I had a good friend of mine, his name's Locke Hutchinson. He helped me with some of the camera work and the camera angles. Um, but yeah, I want to do more Worm Shepherd stuff. I want to do more covers. It's just hard. It's hard finding the motivation to do it sometimes, and it's also hard finding the time now that I'm working full time as well, 40
Right.
hours a week, and I can only play until like 8 o'clock at night before it's like too late and the neighbors might start getting mad. So I'm trying to save up for like an e-kit and stuff, but it's everything's so expensive now.
Yeah. Well,
And
by chance, I wanted to inquire upon this to maybe assist you a little bit. How many like band flags do you have, and how do you have any soundproofing foam?
there's no soundproofing foam, and I have one, two, three, I have four flags right
Okay.
now.
So my trick for soundproofing everything, like literally the only reason my roommates will ever hear me is because the AC vent is right here and we have
Hmm.
our AC vents connected. So every now and then they hear my shit. But what I do personally is literally every corner of this room. I'll show you this right now. Every corner of this room,
Oh
including
yeah.
the top is just flags. And that's good soundproofing. That's step one. For drums, though, I would definitely suggest getting plates of styrofoam soundproofing and actually place them behind the flags.
That's
That
smart.
way, not only is your room super soundproofed, but also it still looks really cool that way. And obviously, getting the flags together, getting all the shit together, that's another financial investment.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that doing that instead of just having your room completely soundproof foamed, it just looks more fun
Yeah.
and it does the job even better than just having the soundproof foam. So that
Yeah.
that would be one
That
recommendation.
and the money that you do spend on the flags goes to the bands. And
Exactly.
I'm all for supporting bands. Go buy some merch, go buy physical copies of music. I'm sure every band out there will relate to this, but we all do appreciate it. Like, right now we have the Eld Teltament on Bandcamp, and I've been seeing some people buying it, and it's really cool to see people like buy like even like digital copies of it, and people are asking for CDs. I'm like, bro, we have 200 followers on Instagram. We just started this, and you guys are asking for CDs. It kind of blows my mind that people are like wanting to buy stuff from us, and we're just starting.
If you guys are as well already interested in the process of getting like merch distribution started, I would look into Reality Fade because though the primary headquarters per se is based in the Ukraine, it is a really good way to get started in merch distribution. My buddies in A Pretext to Human Suffering and the boys in Shrine of Malice, for obvious reasons, they have started getting their merch distributed through Reality Fade. And if not like CDs, shirts, and flags, mandatory merch is a really, really small company I think could use some more love. I know No Existence works with them. That's the reason it's not up right now. I have my Orthodox flag over there actually. I used to have it right here, but that's besides the point. Mandatory merch, I think, is a good starting merch distributor for flags. So if you wanted to do just flags, mandatory. If you wanted to do the whole gig, starting out pretty humble pay, because I'm pretty sure Ukrainian money is like less than ours right now.
Yeah.
That might be a good way to start out for you guys if you guys are indeed interested in getting merch distribution started, as well as I'm pretty sure a good price, a pretty humbling price. So that would be a recommendation I have for you guys. But no, that's awesome, man. You've carved out a story for yourself. You've done hella drums for a long, long time. You've done drums for multiple projects, including one that is very, very close to me, Worm Shepherd. It's so much stuff, dude. So much stuff that you've already accomplished, that you've already conquered, and yet you only have 461 subscribers. Like, it's incredible. It's really cool to see, and I know you'll be one of the greats. I did want to start out my questions after your more thorough introduction by asking, what have been, other than Worm Shepherd, perhaps, what have been some of your most profound in-person or in-studio drumming experiences?
Ooh. Well, I don't have anything like studio related because I record everything in my bedroom. Like right next to me is my
Uh,
kit, my
That's more or
whole
less what I mean.
everything. Yeah, um but like live, um I mean I'm not too sure. Like I'm in my own world. Like I'm just
Yeah.
playing drums wherever I am, but like I'm not too sure. The only thing I could think of that's like I guess on anything that's crazy was this one guy that comes to my shows sometimes and he'll do backflips in the pit. I will see him and I recognize him now. He's been to a few of our shows and I will watch this dude open up the pit and just do a backflip or two just in the middle and I'm just like, all right, sick. Party started now, I guess.
Sick.
Yeah. But
Cool.
I don't have too much live under my belt to really give too many crazy stories yet, but
I mean,
hoping soon. Hoping
yeah,
soon.
I mean, doing a backflip in the middle of the pit to your material. That's pretty compelling. That's
Yeah.
pretty compelling. It's like oh shit, time for me to go harder. Like,
Yeah, I record myself. I try to record myself at every show, and there's some videos of me. You can hear me like laughing out loud watching the crowd. It's my second favorite thing, is watching the crowd at shows. It's like I'm a small guy. I don't do mosh pits very often, but I just hang out and I just watch. That's all
yeah.
I do.
Has anybody ever approached you at your few live shows so far asking, wait, aren't you the guy on YouTube? Like,
Um, no, but I have met somebody who's came up to me at a show and was like, dude, I've been following you since you had like your old bass drum pedals, which is like 3 years ago from now. So like 2020, 2019. I'm like, what? Like, you know me from like Instagram? He's like, yeah, I've been following you for years and I've been trying to come out to one of your shows for Forever Rome. I've been dying to meet you. I'm like, dude, that's insane. And I appreciate it so much. Like the support on like it just reaches out into like in-person events is just it's mind-boggling.
right.
And I've had people I haven't had anyone recognize me for like Worm Shepherd stuff. Since I'm not like a full member of the band, I guess it's not anything super duper crazy yet. But I've had people come up to me randomly and be like, "You're the drummer for Forever We Roam, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "Oh, I went to one of your shows. Like, there's some security guard at a theme park I went to." He was like, "You play drums, right?" I know it's a weird question, but I'm like, "Yeah, how, like, why do you ask?" He's like, "You play drums for like Furry Row?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, I've been in one of your shows." I'm like, "Sick." I'm like, "Cool, nice to meet you." And then it's like I've had people like walking out of shows. I remember I went to see Dark Funeral and Cattle Decap, and I'm walking to a parking garage, and this guy's like, "Hey, you play drums for Furry
Sorry.
Rome, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sick." He's like staring at my car, and that's another thing. I'm into cars. I'm a car guy, and I drive a bright red Ford Focus ST, and I'm like, "Oh, he's looking at me." I walk to my car. It's like something about the car. He's just like, "You play drums?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, sick." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks for It's just it's crazy. It's like I've had very few encounters, but it's just it blows my mind every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It's incredible.
No, absolutely, man.
Uh,
And what's really cool is as of this session recording, me attending the Feral Heritage Tour, Left to Suffer, Distant, Justice for the Damned, and Cabal. Apparently I had someone recognize me in line and like, wait, I saw you in line for the show yesterday, but I didn't know if it was you, so I didn't want to assume, but it was good to see you. I'm like, who the fuck noticed me?
yeah,
Who the fuck saw me in line in the best of ways possible? That's not like who saw me in line, who knows who I am, I it's just those types of moments are when, even if you aren't like super duper famous, right,
yeah,
it's really nice to know that people are starting to recognize you, people are starting to acknowledge and see you and see the hard work you're putting in, and they're like, wait a minute, isn't that guy that does the for his YouTube profile? I'm like, yes, sir. But why didn't you say hi? I would have gladly taken a photo. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's
It's
like
moments like that.
yeah. I mean, it's just you're just a regular person like everyone else, and it's just like come up and say hi. It's like it's just very appreciative.
Like for me, it's like I know I'm tall. I know I've kind of filled out a little bit because I've been working out at home. But
Hmm.
the thing is, I love talking to people, and I love talking to people about niche shit that happens to do with our music, because that means that they are also authentically invested and their souls are in the music, right? Their souls are with the people behind that music. And therefore, that's all I really care about. Um, like there are definitely some differences in ideology. Like I can never separate the art from the artist, but that's going to be a separate video in the near future for the channel. But other than that, dude, like I love going to shows. I love meeting people at shows. I love making friends at shows. It's always fun to like have those type of moments. And I finally had my first one recently. I'm like, yes, I was joking with my immediate family. I'm like, I'm finally famous, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's a moment. It's a milestone that I've been meaning to accomplish. But without digging too far into me, because I can do that another fucking time or just with any of the videos on the channel. We've learned a lot about you for sure. And we've learned a lot about your musical inspirations, the bands that you were getting into as you progressed as a drummer, and then finally settling into the overall deathcore genre, getting into the various projects you've been in, participating in a metalcore project, that being Forever We Roam. Really solid shit. And I definitely need to listen to all these other projects and again, inquire upon hosting you and your other members for those projects on the show in the future. Do you remember your first ever like official kit and comparing that to now? What are some like improvements that you're seeing? Like, what are some things you desire most about your kit? What are some things you're shooting for in the near future? Basically, I'm talking about like brand shit and just like, do you want to get sponsored by a specific company? Do you want like symbol or whatever? That type of
Yeah.
stuff. You know, what are some of like where did you start and where are you planning to be with your drum kit?
So my first actual kit, the kit I got when I was like 11, was a Guitar Center brand called Sound Percussion Labs. I gave that kit to a buddy of mine because he's playing in his band. Shout out to Beyond Oblivion. Those guys are cool. Um, and they're playing shows and stuff, and his kit at home is like half E kit, half acoustics. They got like acoustic cymbals, but E kit, so we can do the MIDI and really like detail like the drums, like. And he was like, I just can't make this to an E kit, plug this stuff in, take these triggers off, take these specific mesh heads off, put these. And he was like, are you using your old kit? And I'm like, nah, bro, I just have it. I don't even use it. And then last year, I worked hard to get my current kit. It's a Yamaha Stage Custom Birch in Honey Amber. It's a very pretty orange. And I got that kit because it sounded good. It was pretty affordable. Birch drums also sound good under microphones. And it looked good. And I was like, I'm gonna get this kit. Got that kit. And for any kind of like brand loyalty or anything, I'm currently endorsed by Soultone Cymbals, and that is my only endorsement as of yet. And I've tried for other stuff before. I haven't quite made it, but I'm hoping after the end of this year with some shows under my belt, some pretty significant releases under my belt, um, I could probably reach out to some companies again, reach back out to some companies I reached out to before, give it some brands. But that's something I do like is brand loyalty and that partnership with artists and um, what's the word? I guess artists and like companies and having that like mutual relationship. Just having that extra help with gear because any musician out there knows music gear is expensive. And if you can get any kind of help, support, or discounts, yeah, it's very nice. And getting that extra bit where it's like get your video shared on their social media pages and stuff. You get a couple followers from those. It's nice. It's nice to have that kind of support from a company who believes in you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. That being said, we kind of have that question conquered for now, and I hope to learn how that progresses with time, as I know you will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Whether with Ice Satan, King Malice, or Warm Shepherd, really depends on how this timeline prevails and continues forward. Third question for you, and this is, mind you, I do apologize. I never really provided you any of you guys scripted questions to go off of, so
It's all good.
I do apologize if there was like any pressure. You're just like, I've been looking into this brand, but fuck, what's the brand name? Like that type of shit. I just don't want to cause any pressure, but it's also sometimes in kind of a sadistic way, I will admit, it's nice to see what answers people have on the spot. So a little bit transparency for the
Yeah.
audience too, who's like, you asked him too many complex and detailed questions. What the fuck? You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Question three for you. You mentioned that earlier in your life, as you were first getting into drums, you were also getting into skateboarding, riding scooters, BMX, all that stuff. Basically, I would say like street sports. I think that's the term, the correct term for it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling I know what the answer is, but I'm not you, so I'm not going to assume. You were
Okay.
doing that for a little bit. What ended up having you kind of like indefinitely retiring from that and kind of parting ways from that as and
Um,
prioritizing drums, I guess.
it's just the natural way of things. I just started getting more opportunities for stuff, and I just started leaning more towards music and everything. And I still do it. I ride mountain bikes, so I'm out in the woods. I'm doing dirt jumps. I'm doing trails, going on mountains and stuff, and I'm still into that. I don't do it very often because, like I said, music and work just consumes my life so much more now. And also growing up, getting older, like a lot of my friends who are into bikes and stuff now are into cars, and all my homies, we all drive cars. We all got like sports cars of some kinds. We're all working on cars.
Car
We
meets
all
and
go
shit.
cruising, like yeah, car meets every weekend. Like I'm gonna go to one this weekend, this Saturday, and but it's just like just the natural way of things, just I mean, just being a kid, growing up, finding new hobbies, finding new interests. But I still stay true to some of that stuff. I still ride my bike every once in a while. I'm very out of shape, but I go out, go hit some trails, um, and just yeah, but it is fun.
Yeah. It's a good way to get out of the house for sure. And
Absolutely.
when you're talking about like the car meets and stuff, that's just good for social aspect because you don't want to be isolating yourself to just work and just drums. That would be a terrible life to live, even if you are as good of a drummer as you are, and even if you are as passionate as you are about it. One thing I've learned is that it's very important to have a balance between all those things and just not investing too much time into one thing or the other because then you're just going to get thrown out of whack. You might become demotivated, like you said, you were before. Maybe it's not that specific reason, but that
Yeah.
could be a reason for other people, you know? So it's always good to like chunk out time and just kind of build that progression with time. Um, last second to last question really for you would be concerning the current job that you have jumped into. How long have you been doing that? Was there a specific passion or reason behind getting into that? How long do you plan to like I sound like an interviewer or something, just like how
Yeah, yeah.
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, Sonny? Or some shit like that. But more serious question really is like, are you comfortable with that job? How long have you been invested into it? Why was the reason you got into that? And how far do you plan to take that alongside your music?
So I work, like I said, at a warehouse. I'm working on car parts, but it's a very specific car part. Like I said, it's lifters. It's a valve train thing, and I won't get into it. You know, this isn't a
Right.
podcast about cars, but um,
Why not? Let's do
I've
it.
been working. Well, nah, nah. It's so it gets so complicated. You know, then I start talking about like big block Fords and Chevys and small block whatever, and nah, it's a whole rabbit hole. I won't get down, but. I've been working there for about a month and a half now, and it's not an awful job. It pays okay. Um, it's just very isolated. I am in a back room of a warehouse. Most of the day, I'm facing a wall working with my hands, and I don't get much social interaction with anyone. I listen to a lot of music, podcasts. I've been getting into podcasts a lot more recently just because I get tired of listening to music sometimes. So I'm like, let's hear some people talk about whatever. And I'll listen to podcasts, but it's definitely taking its tolls on me, and I am getting pretty tired of it. And a lot of it as well is the drive. The highway I have to go up for it. It's about 30-mile drive there and 30 miles back, so 60 miles round trip every day. And it's a lot of traffic. And there's a toll lane on the side that you can take, but it gets a little pricey and it'll end up if I were to take that every day with gas and the toll fees and the actual toll like expenses themselves on top of the fees, I'm basically could be making like getting back like half of my paycheck of what I'm doing on top of all like the taxes and deductions and stuff you get from paychecks. So I'm starting to feel like it's not worth it. Um, the job itself, I enjoy putting my head down and working, but my old job was at a restaurant. I was working at a burger place. I'd see people all day. I'd work with people, a lot more people my age, and it was more um
More
I
sociable.
guess more sociable, yeah, and more relatable with people. And even though like a lot of them don't have interests like I do, I can still like say like stuff about school or where they're going to like college or work or whatever.
Yeah,
And I am a little tired of it, the drive, the traffic, the stress of it. And I'm trying to teach myself to stress less because there's no reason to go 20 miles over the speed limit if I'm late for work. That's not worth getting to a car accident for.
I
Or
agree.
if someone cuts me off, like I've got bad road rage, I'll be honest. But I don't
Me
stress
too.
about
Me
it.
too.
Like people are crazy out here, man. Y'all gotta chill on the road. Public service announcement. Slow down, chill out sometimes. This is coming from a car guy too. Just relax. We all got places to be. We all want to get there alive, I'm pretty sure. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure he says.
hey, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people going through things, and I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for
Right.
me. But um, and like for other jobs, I'm thinking about working like at Guitar Center. I know it's very basic as a musician, like, oh, I've been working at Guitar Center for 5 years, and then I go up on my band, going to tour, and it's
Well, if you
like
surround
that,
yourself with the music, it's just better for your craft because then you have
yeah,
more time to like learn about brands or learn how different instruments work. So there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. And if people discourage you, fuck them. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
yeah. It's just I'm waiting for a response back. I filled out an application for that, and I'm like, the discounts could be nice, working there could be nice. I might be tired of listening to some people play like Freebird all day, but or how about Stairway to Heaven? You know, I
Yeah.
might be that guy that might kick someone out for playing Stairway to Heaven for the 25th time in a week. But I mean, I'd rather be doing that, walking around, having a change of scenery instead of where I'm at now. But
Yeah.
like,
Naturally.
I mean, it pays the bills, paying off my car. I had to get a new phone recently. My old phone kept crashing throughout the day.
Oof.
So I just spent $1,100 on a new phone that I need to get paid off.
Yeah.
And, like things like car insurance, like gas and food and stuff like that. But like, it's a job, but like, I'm 18. I'm not planning on going to school at this moment.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to work somewhere where I'd enjoy it. So there's so many options out there. And graduating from high school and doing this, it's like the whole world is ahead of you. And there's so many options out there. And it's like so many things you can do. So
Yeah.
it's like, why not just try a bunch of different things? I might have been working here for a
Exactly.
month and a half. Like it might seem like weird to some employers, be like, why did you work here for such a short amount of time? It's just like I'm exploring my options. There's so much out there for
You're
me to do.
young.
Yeah. It's like do it, make mistakes while I can. Like I'm
No, I absolutely agree.
still living with my mom. Like if I go like, oh no, I'm broke because I accidentally did this, it's fine. Like I just work and get my money back or
Yeah.
do whatever. Just learn from your mistakes. Do it while you're young.
Exactly.
So
Do it while you're young. That's a good way. Like just exploring your options, having a variety of options, and then making sure above all else that yeah, work isn't supposed to be all fun, but you're at least supposed to enjoy some aspects of it, whether it be the people, whether it be the financial return that you get from that job, for fuck's sake, because that's all a job is.
yeah,
You work it, you do some things that you don't want, but then again, you have that financial backbone to support yourself, support your necessities, and then after that, after being responsible, then you have a little bit of leeway to invest into the things that you really, really want to do. And I don't think enough people, even today, even on the 21st of September 2023, I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I'm really hoping that they do soon, because that's going to be a lot of failed dreams just because you were discouraged by something you kind of didn't want to do. It's like, get the fuck over it. We all have to do stuff we don't want to do all the time. That way we can do the stuff we really want to do in the future. And it also just depends on how long it takes for you to get that. It's completely up to you and your sole responsibility alone to take action, acquire a means of financial return, and then invest into your fun stuff. Sorry, I got on like a dad rant there for a second, but it's
No,
true.
it's true. It makes 100% complete sense.
But with that being said, we have our last question, and this is like something from the original scripts per se.
Okay.
I wanted to go ahead and pluck off of you 5 different characters with all the bands that you've mentioned, with all the people you've mentioned along the way in your musical journey. What are 5 people, artists, musicians, maybe even drummers specifically, or albums that have really, really driven you and motivated you to accomplish all that you have so far?
Um, let's see.
This is really where the diamond ass pressure comes in.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of very influential people to me. Um, there's a lot of people who motivate me and who've given me opportunities. And I'm just gonna say number one be Trey from Worm Shepherd of Sulfur. Um, like I'm telling you, like the following and the attention I got when that announcement for the EP came out and when I was mentioned on it was like I was like, whoa, there's a lot of people following me. There's a lot of people DMing me. Like I got messages from people when the EP came out being like, yo, this is incredible. It's like I'm really happy you got to be a part of this because this is really cool. And there's people that are saying like, I know you're not a full-time member, but I want you to be a full-time member. And I'm like, I'd want to as well. Like, trust me, I'd want to as well, but I don't make those decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, but big, massive shout out to Trey. I love that man. He's done, I think he's done a lot more for me than he thinks he's actually done for me. And I just really appreciate him for carrying me in music. See, number two, see, it's another person, I'd say, oh, I don't know.
Pressure.
I know the pressure. Um, I'm not too sure. I guess I'm gonna say just I guess
I
my
know, I
buddy,
know,
my
I know one of them, but you're just not saying them yet.
one of them.
Dave McGraw.
Yeah, shout out to Dave. That dude is one of my influences for drums for sure.
Yeah,
Like the amount
but
of cattle decap I've covered is insane. Like, yeah, I've taken a lot of inspiration from him. Um, I guess another person I am gonna say, or I guess people I should say would be all the guys in Forever We Roam, like pushing me to become a better musician because I do have to be honest, the span from when I filled in with them to now, me as a musician and a drummer and getting into more of the business side of things, I've learned a lot because of these guys. And it's like we might still be a local band, but we've got a little bit of a following on social media and like there's it's I've that was the first band I joined with actual like fans, like people waiting for us to do something. I've never had that before joining them. And it was like it's really inspirational and it was really eye-opening for me.
So,
So but shout out to my band Forever We Roam and those guys in there. And he's not in the band anymore, but our old guitarist JT Sutek, he's pushed me as a musician and drummer as well. He's also a drummer, guitarist, does vocals, multi-instrumentalist, and he wrote a lot of the stuff that I kind of playing now. And some of that stuff I wouldn't be able to play if it wasn't for like the motivation, a little bit of the kick in the butt to be like, I know you can do this. You got to just try it. I'm like, okay, I'll figure something out and do it. And it's like similar situation with here with Don and Matt pushing me to my limits. Quite literally, I was drenched in sweat. My hands were in pain after recording the EP, but I pulled it off and I managed. And I've probably I probably burnt myself out a little bit, which is why I'm in this rut where I am in now. But at the same time, like I know what I did to accomplish that
You
in
work
those
fucking
speeds that,
hard,
yeah, and I did it and I pulled it off.
and that's
Um,
really what's important.
yeah. Let's see, like albums and music. I gotta say, Aversion's Crown and shout out to all of those guys because those are one of the first deathcore bands I found out about, and their drummer Jaden Mason was one of the first like fast death metal drummers I found that really opened my eyes to like blast beats and double bass and deathcore and I guess a more niche subgenre of like alien core at the time with them releasing like their song like Erebus and stuff like that. It's just really cool and opened my eyes to this style of music.
Yeah.
Let's see, where is that? 4?
Yeah, it's 4. And I also did want to like kind of bait you a little bit. Would you say Aversion's Crown is like one of your favorite bands of all time, if not your favorite band of all time?
200% yes. They are one
Cool.
of my favorites. They're in my top 5 for my like yearly wrapped on Spotify and stuff. And real quick, another thing was that on that Traders tour I almost did with Worm Shepherd, Aversion's Crown was supposed to play
Yes.
instead of Victims.
Yes.
And I was pissing myself with the thought of playing drums before one of my idols
Mhm.
goes up on stage and one of my favorite bands ever. And I'm just like, couldn't believe it. Then they couldn't make it. And I was like, ah. And then I couldn't make it. And I was like, ah, well, oh, well.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I guess for the fifth thing, I'm gonna put like another musical influence, or I guess another band. I'd gotta say, um, oh gosh, so many options. I've listened to so much stuff. Um,
What was your very first song that you covered on drums?
oh, probably, Breaking Benjamin. Red Cold River was the first song I learned and played on drums.
And is that still like, is that one of your favorites to play on drums? Maybe you have a favorite song to play on
Uh,
drums for practice or some shit?
I rarely play it anymore, but that was one of my OG songs that I occasionally go back to. But yeah, I gotta say that band Breaking Benjamin and that song specifically.
Cool.
But yeah,
Badass.
I guess those are my 5 right off the top of my head. I can name so many more, but there's so many people out there that have influenced me and pushed me and everything like that, and I appreciate them all.
Yeah.
But just five for now. Just keep it
5 for
short.
now. Exactly. And if anything, once we have you return, just keep those 5 in mind and let's continue expanding your top artists and albums, drummers, whatever of all time. I think that could be really fun because I haven't done that before, but I think that would be pretty refreshing, right? To
Yeah,
return to that and be like, do you remember your top 5 from the last episode? Oh fuck, I don't think I do. I gotta look at the that type of stuff just for the
yeah,
sense of continuity and sequel episodes, I guess. But
right.
next, part 2 of the first half of the People podcast. I'm thinking if you're okay with the Donovan, I'll go ahead and have Matt go next because this is another YouTuber. This is another instrumentalist. This is another musician. He is a very vital piece of the band. So, Matt, I want you to go ahead and go next. And I will go ahead and have you do the same thing that Alex did, but we will try to compact it as much as possible as I am running out of time for both like sleeping and shit. So no pressure, ultimately.
Yeah, yeah.
Take it away, sir. And before we get you started, is there any way that we can see your handsome face, or are you trying to stay
Um,
anonymous?
I guess so far I'm being anonymous.
Okay.
Just kind of been my thing for my YouTube and all that. I mean, even Alex and don't know what I look like, so
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're good. You're good then. In that case,
just checking.
yeah.
Sorry, you can hear me. I have to be a bit more quiet. It's currently 1:30 a.m., so I'm gonna be a
Fucking
bit
A,
more quiet.
dude.
Hopefully you can hear me.
Oh
Yeah, I'm in
shit,
the
I'm
UK.
so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
All right. Well, in that case, before you go to sleep or something similar,
I don't have anything to do. You can take as long as you want.
sounds good. Go ahead and take us from the beginning, man. Everything that you feel is relevant to your story as a musician, all that fun shit.
Yeah. So I've accidentally told this in the section before, but
Yes.
yeah, I'll roughly just go over it. I got an acoustic guitar when I was 10. Discovered Master of Puppets. Played the crap out of that song for about a month. Learned it on guitar. Um, really got into Metallic and all the older stuff as well. Learned all their songs pretty much that I could. From there, went into like metalcore, like Avenged Sevenfold type thing. Went into more like modern metalcore, which I really liked. Went on a bit of a tangent with things like Gen and Prog. Good band is Error if you've heard of them. Things like that. And yeah, it eventually just settled down in deathcore and just kind of been around here for a while. Hard to say if I have like a top favorite band because it sort of depends on whoever releases music right now. So I'll just have to wait a few more years for that to settle down. But yeah, that's basically it. I've been playing guitar for on and off, I guess, 8 years now. And yeah.
Cool. And let's see. Do you remember your first major instrument, or maybe who even ended up gifting you your first major instrument?
Yeah, my guitar. It was my mum who bought it for me for my 10th birthday. It was a 3/4 size red acoustic guitar.
Sick.
um, yeah, I've learned to play on that, and actually not even metal. It's what I originally learned on that is like, acoustic guitar stuff like country music or whatever, things like that.
Sick.
Yeah, kind of forgot about it for a while. Then I discovered the Master of Puppets and just started playing it again.
Badass. And let's see. Being that you already mentioned your top five and that you can't exactly compress your top five, which is completely
Yeah.
fine. Um, you do drums, you do guitar, you do a lot of different stuff for I Satan, which is really, really cool, including mixing and mastering. What
Mm.
got you into sound engineering?
Um, I guess out of necessity. Basically, my first like proper video on my YouTube was a cover of Bratva by Slow to Prevail, and that was before its release. So what I did, I saw there was a clip of them playing it live about maybe 2 months before they released the album. So I went in, I learned the song, programmed the drums to it, programmed the bass, everything, and I released that as a cover. Now looking back at it, I think it sounds crap, but I've gotten better, and I've had like a very sort of similar situation recently with Viking. Um, I think it's almost caught up with the views on that, and I think it sounds much better. And it's only like 2 years difference. It's actually like listenable, I think. So yeah, sort of over the past 2 years, I've just been making things, writing like not songs, just random riffs, and just been writing those and been slowly sort of tweaking my projects and things like that, and just making sure they sound decent.
Okay, sick. And your YouTuber name, right? That would be Drakovac as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna make sure I'm spelling this correctly.
I believe it's based on some Balkan folklore or something like that. So it's
Ooh,
kind of cool.
that's actually really cool. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Yes. So the first thing that's on my for you, my recommended would be Monsters Dissected, Drakovac, the thing that screams in
Yeah,
the
I
night.
don't come up for a while unless you search like Dracovac Slaughter to Prevail or something like that.
Gotcha, which is exactly what I'll go ahead and look up now. Um, and just for the sake of knowing where your channel is and shit. Okay. So Drakovac with the cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sick, sick,
It's not
sick.
even my cat. I don't have a cat.
We love that. Well, I mean, yeah, you're doing a lot better than I am. I'll have you know, at 928 subscribers. So, my community has a little bit more adjusting to do for Alex Nourse, but you seem to be doing pretty well. And I hope to see you continue to climb because
Yeah.
you have a lot
I've
of
been fairly
content on
lazy,
there.
but yeah, I've been lazy recently, but I've moved into university now. I've got all the time, so
Ah. Okay, cool. Understood. And yeah, you have like hella content on here, whether it's guitar covers, whether it be the official guitar playthrough for Ice Satan's Dream Eater. You got a whole bunch of different shit, which is really cool. So everybody be sure to
Yeah.
go check out Drekavak with the cat as the profile picture. Make sure to go subscribe because I already know, like, even before listening to the album or listening to the EP, I know this guy has a lot of stuff that he's done. I have a feeling that the guitar parts of this EP, as well as Dream Eater, because I do remember Dream Eater, and that was some good shit. So
I think it's
everybody,
pretty cool.
yeah, I can only hope. Appreciate your own art a little bit there, bud. Um, but absolutely, everybody go be sure to subscribe to Drekavak as well. Really cool name, really cool origin for the name as we had it on public domain. Um, let's see. What's been your favorite creation so far? Would it be this EP or
Yeah, I guess in terms of actual like released music, this is the only thing I've ever done. This is my first, like Dream Eater was my first song I've ever written. Before that, I've only wrote like maybe 20-second riff segments. So Dream Eater was the first time putting together a full song and even releasing it. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of the EP.
awesome? I can only hope you're proud of the EP. Let's see. And is there anything else you want our audience to know about you before we go ahead and move on? Because I know you're wanting to stay anonymous and stuff, so a lot of stuff might be left out, but is there anything else you want them to know about you?
Um, Not really. I'm just a guy who plays guitar, does covers, all that kind of thing.
Fair enough. All right. Well, with that being said, that was a lot shorter than I was expecting, but it's not your fault. You're just like, yeah, I just play guitar
I
for
already
I
told
say,
most of
and
it in the start
yeah,
by accident, so fair enough.
exactly. So as we strive to conclude the people part of the podcast, in which the second half is most likely going to be a speed run, Donovan, you're up, my friend. It's been a long time since we've learned your story, heard everything you had to tell about your musical preferences, your vocal efforts and stuff. So essentially what I want to do in this session is kind of just catch up on your lore, man. Catch up on your legacy. Take it away.
Um, so last time we spoke, I believe Brimstone and Fire just came out. So, the EP, the with Disembodied Tyrant. Um, so moving on from, so I'll just start from like after the interview per se. Um, I flew out to where Blake lives at his at-home studio. Had a great time there. Me and Blake are still best friends.
Good.
And what's the name? We recorded the EP, but dude, it was just a bad time for me. Like it was just like my vocals were just not hitting. So him having done vocals before was like, you know what? I'll just take care of it for now. And then when you get better, we'll see. And then so I stepped away from the band because he had it handled. And so now so around that time, so I stopped doing music for a while. I did like an odd number of covers here and there just to keep my chops up. And then let's see. I started King Malice out of just maybe this will be my attempt at getting back into music. But the first couple little things that we wrote, I wasn't really inspired by it to really do vocals on top of it, let alone write for it. And writing is a
Yeah.
big thing that I do. So, it was just like it's there. But with I Satan, since I started that. So what's funny enough is that, or I guess are we gonna go later on, we're gonna go into how the band started and all that stuff, or
Yeah, more or less.
all right, so I won't get into what I was about to say now, but I Satan has pretty much been like, I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm now back to improving my vocals at a regular pace. And it's actually been ridiculous how fast I've been improving now that I think about it, really, because I Satan we started getting songs together in EPs and stuff way before the first single came out. But since the single came out and really to now, I feel like my vocal ability has improved. It's actually ridiculous going from like, and it's a noticeable like difference. Like you can hear it, and I've been tracking it through my YouTube channel. Dawn does vocals, and I've been putting like short covers up there, or on my Instagram page. I do like one takes of breakdowns and stuff like that. But yeah, I've just really been trying to stay in the loop of the scene and just keep improving my vocal ability. And it's getting up there.
That's good. And really, that's the most important thing is understanding when you need to step down from one endeavor, give yourself a little break, give yourself some room to breathe, because you definitely don't want to force anything. And that's, if not manifesting and working hard to achieve your goals, it's understanding when to kind of like step down, take a step back, kind of recount everything, review everything, and then see what you want to do as time progresses. And I remember that post. I was like, oh fuck, he's leaving the band. What's going on with that? You know, is he doing okay? And I think I remember reaching out to you. I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you doing okay? Because it was all, most if not all these conversations have come from a very authentic place. And if not for networking, it's to make friends. It's to get to know people in the scene as they're building their platform. And even if my platform is smaller than them, you know, maybe a more personal, more heartwarming, more human conversation instead of how's the tour going, boys? Like, do you feel like you want to die yet? You know, that type of shit. That's what really makes a person is when they're willing to get on that personal level. Of course, not pry too far, because everybody has a sense of privacy. If not, like me, you know, hard on my sleeve and just trying to be as open and as transparent as possible. Not everybody's like that, and that's completely fine. And people need to understand that person to person. Some people prefer more secrecy. Some people have like they prefer more privacy. Really doesn't matter. It's person by person. But what I'm trying to get to is one of my jobs, I feel, one of my roles in this world, and also now beginning to develop a platform, is to be authentic, be personal, be human, musician by musician. So that's also why it's so awesome to have you come back, is because we've had a conversation before. That's like the simplest way to put it. And we had a really good conversation about what makes you Donovan Parchment / Donda's vocals. And you've been pretty consistent. I feel bad for not having kept track per se of your vocal efforts, because your last cover was only 2 weeks ago and it was for Into the Earth by Lorna Shore, which is absolutely awesome. And going into the near future, motherfuckers, subscribe to Don Does Vocals. This dude is one of the best up and coming vocalists in the scene by far. Of course, you have a very iconic spectrum. And of course, me being white as hell, I'm like, it kind of does sound a little bit like Adam from Oceano or Devon from Warm Shepherd. But there's also just another level that adds to the spectrum of vocals that makes it your own. And I cannot wait to unravel that per se when I listen to this debut EP. Other than that, I mean, what are some of the lessons you've learned? What are some things that you've been kind of like thinking with yourself that you think people might want to hear as YouTubers and upcoming vocalists or musicians?
I'll say the biggest lesson I've learned in this small time of rediscovering myself is pretty much do not hold yourself to the same standards as everybody else. I mean, when it came to vocals, I was beating myself down because I was comparing myself to people like Dickie Allen and Bender and all of these great vocalists and stuff like that at such an early stage. Like even now, I've been only been doing vocals for 3 years, maybe, and I've only taken two of them or one, and I've been doing vocals for 3 years, but I've been taking vocals seriously, like as serious, like with nutrition wise and warming up preparing wise. I've only been doing that for like the past year, which is why my improvement has been so steady in such like as a fast pace. So I'll say that is that make standards for yourself and always reach for the stars, but you know, humble yourself. Like you know, that's where I see it, is that you should keep yourself humbled, because even when I wasn't, you know, as good as I was now, I was holding myself to high regards. Like, oh yeah, I could definitely do what these guys can do, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, you know, and now that I know what the effort it takes to do the stuff that I thought I could do and doing it properly, that's basically what it is. It's just to stay humble. You don't know everything.
Yeah. And one thing I definitely want to extend upon, you mentioned a very classic statement, which is reach for the stars, have ambitions, have dreams. But I also wanted to add to that statement, just like add something new. Reach for the stars, but acknowledge and understand that the stars that we see in our skies at night are incredibly beyond our world. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is, of course, have your ambitions, have your dreams, have your goals, have your milestones that you want to conquer, right? But also realize that there might, over time, after you've put blood, sweat, and tears into something that you're really passionate about, understand that the sky is the limit, but not many people can reach the sky per se unless they're in a plane. Like, don't make impossible goals for yourself, and do not compare yourself to other people. Be inspired by other people, but do your own thing. So those are like kind of two different analyses per se regarding that statement. But it's like reach for the stars, but don't reach too high. And also just have your ambitions, have your dreams, have your goals, but don't kill yourself doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
pretty much what that's pretty much what I was trying to say really, is it's just to, you know, if you're gonna jump for the stars, at least try and reach for the street light.
yeah, yeah.
So
Bring like a hot air balloon or something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And what the hot air balloon means as a symbol, that's up to you to figure out. But I try to also bring some wisdom and knowledge onto the show, because though I am not even in the position you guys are with an EP out, plenty of other music and creative endeavors under your belt, there's one thing I do understand is that do not work yourself to death and then have
Oh, don't
burnout.
do that. Matt
Yeah.
Matt
Yeah.
knows that very well. He
Yep.
doesn't even bother. Matt
I mean,
knows
I
that
can
all
get
too
into
well.
detail if you want
No,
for a
no,
bit.
no. No, you know, you don't need, you know, no, we know. We know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, honestly, since the last time we talked, you provided your 5 characters before. And I think at the very least, the last time we talked, we utilized that script, we utilized that formula of categories and shit. So since then, has your overall discography, your favorite album of all time, your favorite vocalist of all time, all that shit, has that adjusted and changed?
Yeah, my favorite band of all time has now become Peeling Flesh. Like that
Ooh.
that band is literally the best band I've ever heard in my life. No, nah, I can't say that. I can't say that. It's mostly recency bias, but even then, like I still put Peeling Flesh up there with like
Behemoth.
Behemoth. Yeah,
Yeah.
Behemoth is like my number one band of all time. and that will never change. Like no matter how old I get, but Peeling Flesh as of right now has been my favorite band to listen to because it's just like with so much just sad shit going on in the world. Peeling Flesh, it's such a good band that where it can be so it's heavy, but it's so fun to listen to. Like it's so fun to listen to and enjoy. So yeah, Peeling Flesh is easily like one of my number one or climbing up there in of all time. It's top 5 of all time. But let's see if well, I'll go back in the video and see if this has changed. But my top 5 bands are Behemoth, Cattle, Peeling Flesh, um man. Shit. Okay, let me. I mean, I can see what. Yeah, Cattle, Peeling Flesh, Behemoth. I will say,
I
because I
can
don't.
I can guess one for you, like you guess one for me.
Who?
I can say Signs of the Swarm and Dave.
Yeah, yeah. That's number 4. It gotta be
Mhm.
number 5.
Shout
I
out to
will.
those guys.
Yeah,
Shout out to those
shout out
guys.
to Dave and Signs of the Swarm.
Killer
Great,
new record.
disgusting. I think just
It's
off of just off of principle, I have to say Within Destruction.
Okay.
Like I have to go there at number 5, even though like their more recent stuff I'm not the biggest fan of, like the more metalcore stuff, even though it's doing them great numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like they were my first show I ever seen when I was 13, and I just saw them 2 days ago. I have a tattoo of them, like of one of their lines on my arm.
Sick.
I what's the name? And at the show, I got a vinyl from Yokai, my favorite album that they put out, and they all signed it. So,
Goated.
off of just that, I have to say Within Destruction. But Behemoth, Cattle, Peeling Flesh, Signs, and Within
Sick.
Destruction. Top
Yeah.
5.
And I definitely do have to inquire because you said you went to go see them when you were about 13 years old, and that was one of your first shows, correct?
That was my first show ever.
First show ever. Did you see them opening for Lorna Shore and Enterprise Earth by chance, or was it
Yep.
that? Oh,
Yep.
dude, that tour, man, that fucking tour, that was so good. I still have the poster and the lanyard because I got the VIP for that back when fucking VIP was only $35. And it
Yeah,
was so fun. It was so good.
yeah, I saw them at their April 1st date. And so the Pinch in DC, their April 1st date.
That's so cool. That like I can see that over here on the poster, just like
Yep.
you were there. That's
Yep. I
so
was
cool.
there at 13 years old. And Jesus.
I didn't go
Enough
to
My
my
said.
first show until it was actually my 17th birthday. Fit for an Autopsy,
Ooh,
Signs of the Swarm. Who else was on that bill? Enterprise Earth.
yes. Oh, you did you
There's
see
someone
them
else
on
before Signs.
did
It
you
was
see them on their most
2022.
recent one? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you that was Fit for an Autopsy, Signs of the Swarm, Enterprise Earth, Ingested, and Great American Ghost.
Yes, that was a killer lineup.
Killer
I
lineup, yes.
got to see all those guys live. It was just super sick.
Right.
I got to meet Dave too there. He oh, I don't have it over here, but he gave me like these set of like art cards just because it's my birthday. It was sick.
That's really
So
cool. I love Dave. He was a great guest to have on the podcast. And if you haven't seen that episode, definitely go back and watch it because it was good. Um, yeah, that's cool. That's good. Good shit, Donovan. Thank you for sharing once again.
Can I just say, sorry, my little bit here? I've never been to a show.
Never been to a show.
you're about to
I've
go to
got
one though, aren't you?
I am. I've got one on my birthday, like scarily close to me. It's Lorna Shore, Distant, Rivers of
Ooh,
Nile, and
yeah.
Ingested. I think it is.
The Pain
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Remains
sick.
European run.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
that's amazing.
sick. I'm excited for you.
You're in
Hopefully the
for a
venue isn't
treat.
completely sold out. Yeah, no,
yeah,
that
you're
that
in
show was
for a
No,
really
I've
good.
already
treat.
bought mine.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna be in pain afterwards.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even not even being in the pit, but like, dude, I went that show I went to 2 days ago was Within Destruction, Sin,
Stim. Yeah,
another band I
Dance
can't
Gavin
name.
Dance and like
Yeah,
One
but
Light Drive.
The Dance Gavin Dance bit, since they were headlining, was literally like I was squashed in between, like, dude, I was like in the middle of the, it was like a big ass venue, but I was literally like almost to the front in the middle. I got squished. There were random pits starting just in the middle of the like, and then like oh my gosh, it was so bad. I'm so sore.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
and sometimes the adrenaline will get to you. You just want to headbang and just go crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Well, I went
there's
there.
times where I just run to the pit and I just go crazy. Just 'cause it's just sick. It's just sick.
Yeah, but I also did go there off a 900 milligram edible. So
Oh my god.
I was I was pretty
What the
much, I took it like 30 minutes before I got to the venue. It didn't hit me until like 8 o'clock, and I'm waiting for the chicken nuggets that I ordered middle of someone else's set, and I was very mad that I didn't, like, I was just high and mad. And then I ate, and then Dance Gavin Dance came on, and dude, being baked out of your mind with a bunch of sweaty people just like jumping around you, phones out and all that stuff, and all the lights going on. I'm just standing there, really just super high, just rocking back and forth, bumping. Like I wasn't moving intentionally. Like the crowd was just bumping me, and I was just swaying side to side
You're
somehow.
like, dude, I'm in Metalhead C, man. Like,
Dude, it was
Just let the
ridiculous.
wind take you.
let the wind
Literally,
take you.
literally, I
Paint
just
with all
let.
the colors of the wind. Good shit. No, it's awesome. All right. So now, what's up? What's up? Oh, what is that? You got chicken. I heard about that. We're almost done
That
with the
sounds
show,
good.
so you're good. You're good. Thank you. All right. So as we descend into the second half of the podcast, now basically I'm gonna like melt you all into one thing, and you happen to say I Satan. You're just like I Satan, you know, like whatever. But basically now we're going to get into another imaginary mindset. We're going to get into a couple in the second half, but it will probably be a lot quicker than the first one. So that's really all that matters. First question would be to all of you. You're in your first live show together. You have all these sweaty people that just watched your set, just saw you play live, and they're like, dude, that was fucking sick. But they're like dripping in sweat. Maybe they smell terrible, whatever the situation in reality could be. And one of them just randomly comes up to you and asks, why'd you call it I Satan, man?
Okay. I got the answer for that. And it's a two-part answer. So the first one is that I Satan is actually a scrapped song name for a Disembodied Tyrant song that was on the EP, The Divine Stigmata. The name got changed to Omen Killer, and the song structure got changed around a little bit. But I Satan was going to be my favorite song on that EP if it released how it was written when I recorded the demo for it. But and then I gave it some even deeper thought, because I was like, I Satan is cool, but like why? Like I can't really just say it's just a scrap song name.
Yeah.
So reason why I called it I Satan is because I wanted to write music that just rebels against like everything, really, like not just religion. Like I wanted to, since Satan is known as like
The
in
adversary.
other form, yeah, the adversary, the, you know, the great accuser, the guy who just goes against to go against, really, is that's what I want. this band to be is just to go against everything, religion, uh political views, everything. I just want there to be I mean, for the sake of the band and the music itself, I don't feel like any of these ways, like as a person. Like, I'm really chill when it comes to all of these situations. I don't really care about much going on in the world. But, for the sake of music and what I feel like the genre needs now is, a band that really is going against the grain. Like, with it being, well, you can call us deathcore, but we're more death metal than anything. And you can call us symphonic deathcore, but we don't abuse the symphonics as much as some other bands do. We're not trying to sound like a next Lorna Shore or something like that. We're not trying to do all of that little
Yeah.
crazy stuff. We want to just invent our own thing, go
Yeah.
against.
Well, which is really important because there are so many in the scene, including up and coming Immortal Disfigurement. There's Worm Shepherd, Awakened Providence, A Night in the Abyss, Befouled Tongue, Nithful, Heirs of Hatred, The Breathing Process, kinda. There are so many fucking bands, dude, who are wanting in on this booming renaissance, musically speaking, that is black
I
and
don't know how
deathcore.
you missed Mental Cruelty, because those guys have
Those guys
been
are top notch.
those guys are top notch when it comes to, like, it's either like that's who I feel like has taken sort of like, if you're gonna put three bands who everybody in the black and deathcore scene would want to try to be, I'd put Mental Cruelty up there with Lorna
That's fair.
and
DT.
yeah, Disembodied Tyrant too. I feel like that the Disembodied Tyrant has turned into something like I couldn't even imagine it
It's
turning into.
unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
It's
It's just insane.
And
yeah,
they're split EP with Sineshta, bro. Like Sineshta, that's definitely another one of them. I totally like. I'm kind of frustrated at myself for not remembering Mental Cruelty because like I have a sign version of A Hill to Die Upon, like the A2 posters that they were releasing. But after the album's release and while they were cleaning out merch, they sent this A2 poster signed in gold, bro. Gold Sharpie. Who does that? In the best way. Um, they sent me that with what was my my Demon Priest long sleeve that I got because I miss their Slam merch. I really do. I miss that shit. But yeah, you got a point there. Mental Cruelty is up there. Lorna Shore, Disembodied Tyrant, Worm Shepherd. I think honestly, like Worm Shepherd, when I first started really listening to them, the Frozen Lake, Ragnarok, and then their first album came out with breakthrough singles like Wretchedness Upon the Gates featuring David Absines or Chasm Dweller, which was just a full 180 and it just helped.
hold on, guys. I gotta open the door.
Okay, you're good. I'll go ahead and pause real quick.
Wi-Fi might disconnect as well, but I will be rejoining. Just give me a second. Sorry.
Okay, you're good. All right. So continuing where we left off, I mean, really, we were just talking about like the band's name and like how the band got started and shit. And we were also talking about like the really influential like black and deathcore, black and death metal, ignite the church friendly artists in our scene. And I kind of blanked off on Mental Cruelty. So I mean, yeah, like you guys are not really wanting to per se be compared and be like hand in hand with most of these other bands, which is like an admirable goal for any project because the last thing you want to be is this is another Mental Cruelty-esque band. Like you don't want to do that. It's just bad for marketing. It could be good in a marketing sense for fans of right below your music,
Yeah,
but
that's what
that's about
I've been
it.
going around and saying. Like I'll share it in like Discord pages on like for fans of Lorna Shore, Worm Shepherd, Mental Cruelty, stuff like that. It's just like that blackened style of death metal, deathcore, however you want to take it. But it normally gets people to look at it and be like, oh, well, I like this band. Maybe I might like these guys and
Exactly.
might turn someone on to us.
Yeah. And as long as you don't become, oh, this is basically supposed to be the new disembodied tyrant or something. It's like, no, calm
No,
down, you
Yeah,
know.
no,
yeah, I've been
disembodied
getting.
Blake is insane,
Yeah,
and
I've gotten
yeah,
that. I've gotten
so
that asked a couple times from other people, like, "Oh yeah, is this your basic like is this your other disembodied tyrant?" And I don't want to consider this band that. I consider this something completely different, especially now that it's, a real drummer this time around,
Yeah.
like the actual
yep.
acoustic drums. I actually, I want to take this. I'm taking this as a whole different experience. This band is an entirely new experience.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way you should do it. It's just like a relationship, bro. When you get into a new relationship, when you get into a new commune, I guess, to be more like band friendly because there's multiple people. Um, you definitely want it to be a clean slate. You don't want to bring elements and have elements from prior efforts breach into this one because that can cause insecurities. That could cause tension between the participating members, right? So
Right.
same thing as a relationship. You don't want to bring anything from the prior relationship into that one because that just causes fucking issues. Or it could cause issues. So with that in mind, I wanted to ask each and every one of you, what is the most important part about writing an I Satan song, whether lyrically or instrumentally so far?
Well, I'll leave this to Matt when it comes to the instrumental part of it, because I have a say in it, but it's like I'm usually like agreeing with what what Matt creates, because like he whenever snippet he sends always just sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this
lyrically, I go about writing um so for the EP that we just released, most of the songs are based off of books and like old stories in the Bible, from the first edition of the Bible where we got the EP name from. And it's kind of like told to the extreme, like told to the extreme level of it. But you know what's funny, and I didn't even tell the band members about this yet, is that so somebody reacted to all of the songs off the EP, and it's funny that there's a parallel drawn between, because we have God Equals Dog on the EP as a behemoth. It's a behemoth cover, but I didn't realize that you can draw the parallels between that and Stillborn, because in so Stillborn is a song, messed up song. We're gonna get into it pretty much later, but it's a messed up song about what would happen if a human and an angel had a baby, and the baby got miscarried or whatever. And
Oh.
so what's the name? The God Equals Dog, the lyrics are, if I'm a link between the pig and the divine, I shall cast the pearls before the swine. And that's funny because the guy who reacted to it was like, if I'm a missing link between the pig and the divine, is that the guy from Stillborn talking, like if I'm the link between a human and God? And I was like, okay, so this guy's just inventing new
Lore.
lore. He's inventing new lore for me. So now I'm gonna carry that into the album, of course. I have
that
to.
sounds interesting.
It's ridiculous because that song was not meant to be story related at all, but reading the lyrics of that in Stillborn, it has a lot of story implications where they match up. So
Yeah. And what's
Yeah,
unintentional,
sorry.
great cover placement,
Yeah.
great
And
song.
what's ironic about that is that people that orchestrate massive narratives in major movie franchises or boomingly successful television shows. One example that comes to mind would be like I
John
think
Wick,
John Wick.
John John Wick. That I When it comes to storytelling, the John Wick series, I've never seen a better movie series do it. I don't care.
and it's
I
really
haven't
good.
their building of the universe and the continentals and all that stuff, and just the whole John Wick, like it's ridiculous. That movie series has easily been my favorite series of movies I've
Is it
ever seen in my life.
is it bad that I was about to mention George Lucas and all the guys from Star Wars?
Well, it's good. Well, Star Wars is like also too like the best. Like when you think about it, it's commercially the best story building place, like for story. But like recently, it just hasn't been the best recently. But I will say, from like the Force Unleashed downward was the best Star Wars has ever been. After the Force Unleashed, I don't know so much, but the Force, not the Force Unleashed. I'm thinking of the game, what the Force Awakens, which was episode 8.
That was episode 7.
Episode 7, yeah. So episode 7, the Force Awakens. Everything Star Wars media from the Force Awakens downward was peak Star Wars.
I can agree because the Force Awakens, like getting on a brief Star Wars tangent, the Force Awakens brought a lot of potential to the series, but The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker fucking tanked it. I hated those movies. And I will say that after the commercial failure of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, I think The Mandalorian, The Book
That
of
was
Boba
good.
Fett,
Those were all right.
Andor, I'd never finished because I was just bored by it. Funny enough, because I was like religiously raised on Star Wars. Um, I haven't watched Andor all the way through. Ahsoka, though, dude,
I was told I need
it's
to watch it.
if you haven't watched Rebels yet, and if you did watch the Clone Wars when you were little, watch Rebels for the sake of lore, and then go to Ahsoka because in the best way possible, Star Wars is about to get a massive reset. And
Good.
that's the beauty of it. It's about to get like a massive reset. So I'll just leave it at that and let you watch that. But yeah, it's always fun to kind of have more surfaced material and then have the fans dive into the narrative and kind of create their own thing. And then you're like, yes, we'll go with that, because that's exactly what major executives and shit at Comic-Cons will do. If crazed fans are just investing as much as they are, it's like, you know, they ask a more complex question, they provide narrative, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. And then it just helps build, and it also allows for fans to be more part of the band. So it's always great. And I love that Ice Satan has the formula it has. I was thinking a little bit ago when you were talking about the reason behind the band name, I'm like, well, to be a little bit more on brand friendly for the scene, it's like the embodiment of rebellion. That could have been, you know, that could be something. Just throwing that out into the universe. But really, really cool that you do have a formula for all the material you have written so far, and that you plan to continue to
Well,
write
that's
going into the near
lyrically.
future. Yeah, exactly. That's very
Matt,
true.
Matt, on the other hand, he has his own process of, 5-second snippets every 2 months.
Well, Matt, let's hear it, man. What is most
Yeah,
important about writing music for this project?
I guess it's very simple. It's having fun. That's all that matters to me in the end. I mean, obviously, publishing the music, seeing all the numbers, that's kind of cool. But I'm doing this to learn new things, new experiences. Writing is fun. I like doing it. So
Oh,
as
really?
long as
Couldn't
I'm
tell.
having fun, I think it turns out great. So yeah, my writing process is a bit interesting. Still figuring it out for the album that I'm writing currently right now.
Are you?
I'm just yeah, slowly.
Mm.
I have a bunch of like 20-second snippets, and then I want to write as many of these as I can, and then I'm gonna put them into songs. I want to have like an hour-long album that's dynamic
Ooh,
and epic.
cool.
Has like
That's the goal. Something
has like an
massive.
album-wide
Yeah, that's the goal.
structure, and like yeah,
Sick. No, it's awesome.
I
Well,
want
in
it to be
that
an like
case,
experience when you listen to it. You know, sorry.
yeah, No, you're good. Absolutely. And that's like the most important thing about music on this level is that there is some substance to it. There is some thought that goes into the creative process. Because if you're just cranking those 20-second riffs, for example, and that's all you really do, and then you're like, okay, this works here. Donovan, fucking put vocals on it and let's get it released, kind of just like
Yeah.
half-assed. That's not the music that a lot of people want to write these days, which is why it is such a good time to get into this industry, and it's why it's such a good time to want to create something myself, if that makes sense. um with that in mind, Alex, did you have anything you wanted to add to the creative process and how you like do chops and how you maybe adjust things?
Um, yeah, that's basically it. I just adjust things. It seems to be the way things go a lot more recently for like basically all my bands, except for the Worm Shepherd stuff. That was kind of more strict because like Trey had an idea and an outlook for the EP, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this the way it already is, change like one or two slight things, and just leave it as that. And but yeah, and another idea I do have, I want to test in the future is writing a song with just the drums only and letting Matt write guitars over it and Don like create vocals and lyrics for it, just to flip it the all the way around instead of saying like, oh, let's do this riff and then add guitars, then vocals. I'm like, well, what if I just like shred for like 5 minutes, come up with the song structure, and then just see what guitars come out of Matt's head, and then whatever lyrics.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. If you, I'd love to do that. And to be honest, as you were saying that, the only song that popped into my head that would even sound like we kind of did that was God Equals Dog, because God Equal Dog is like literally a 3 minute long blast beat with like it's like a 3 minute long blast beat with with just some fills. Like, so before Alex came along, I was writing the drums, and then Alex wrote the drums, and now I'm trying to play these to keep up with him, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unfair. I don't like it.
Well, I guess it's good that Alex is doing the drumming in this project at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Like,
it is because I wouldn't have the effort. Oh yeah, the EP wouldn't even be out yet if I had to record all of these songs bar for bar, because like, no, no.
It's
just no,
insane.
just no.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's insane. It's ridiculous.
Well, as we get to what I would consider our second to last part of the Anatomy Crosscast, whatever the fuck number episode it is, all that matters is that we're back on the show. We're getting even more musicians in, and the goal, despite my very, very exhausting and preoccupying job right now, will be to do more episodes in the future. Let's go ahead and dive headfirst into Under the Skin for the Eld Teltament, because there is a D on the Spotify upload, so I remember Donovan saying Elb with a B
No,
earlier.
no, I Eld. It's
Oh, okay.
ELD.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm actually remembering that correctly now. Cool. So this will be the secondary imaginary scenario that we kind of descend into in the second half of the session. Imagine you're in a library. All three of you aren't even in a fucking band. You have nothing to do with music. You're just in a library looking for a good read, and you run into what is the album cover. And ironically enough, it really works with the aesthetic of that analogy, because this book would look exactly like a Bible, but you're like, what is the Eld Teltament? Like, is that Latin? What's going on here? So you grab the book, you flip it over, and just like any other book in that library, you have a little summary on the back. What would that summary be to all of you guys?
Um, well, uh, hmm. I'd
It's a
say
great question.
I'd say that I'd say that I'd sum the summary of the EP would be pretty much a book that is chapterized by stories from the Bible put to the extreme, or a summary of a bunch of Yeah, just condensed stories from the Bible that have been put to its utmost extremity. Like there's watering something down, whatever the reverse of that is, we're doing for Bible's stories. So
We're bringing it back up from the depths.
yeah, literally, and
We're showcasing. I guess. Well, now I know. A simple way I'd
exaggerating.
put it is we're showcasing the evils of mankind.
Cool.
Because, like Don said, there is like some stuff that's in there, like lyrically, that's like showing like how bad some of the stuff was.
Yeah,
Like,
the lyrics for these songs are fucking ridiculous, but they aren't anything that, I just came up with, like, well, outside of Stillborn, that's not really a story from the Bible, but Death Preacher, Dream Eater, even God Equals Dog, really, they all come from heavy biblical implications and backgrounds. And Dream Eater, especially, is one of the more, like, if you did your homework on the King James Bible and who King James really was before he wrote the Bible, then Dream Eater is really, like, is one of the more fucked up songs, even though it doesn't have the worst lyrics.
Right.
But yeah, like, Dream Eater is when
So
you, in hindsight.
yeah. So perhaps a good way to compact all that you, Donovan and Alex provided, the Eld Teltament is the first volume from I Satan, the embodiment of rebellion, the adversary of God. And it would be like semicolon. This is a de-earthing, I think that'd be the word, like digging up.
yeah,
We're digging up the dirty secrets of the Bible, and we are drawing them into dramatic proportions for the sake of entertainment and to help people understand how evil the Bible can possibly be. And after
Yeah,
all, the King James Version of the Bible, uncensored, unhinged, had a lot of dirty secrets in it. And
yeah,
like bands such as Nithful, who really, Nithful is the only one I can think of at this moment who did that with the creation of God. So maybe you could compare this to the creation of God. This EP is meant to provide you a different perspective on what the Bible provides to all of its considerably brainwashed followers. But that's just me stating that. So I like that. I really do. And the fact that this is just an appetizer compared to what you guys will be providing in the future. It's a little snack. It's like a little child level reading to just kind of
yeah,
get you into
and
what they want, what you guys want to do.
yeah, and also too, we're not gonna stick solely to Christianity, because with a name like I Satan for a band, it's pretty like, oh yeah, all these guys are gonna do is bash Christians. I don't think that is what we're gonna do. Well, me being a lyricist, I know that's not what I'm gonna write about for the next other stuff, but just for the people who are listening, the and you can take this at home or take this to whoever. The newer I Satan material will be the vision I have for all the I Satan material going forward is that instead of writing about Satan himself, we're gonna do forms of Satan from different mythologies.
Ooh.
So whether that be like an Oni from Japanese mythology,
Or maybe
or
Hades from Greek.
yeah, Hades from
yeah.
Greek mythology, um Hell, Hel from
Yes.
Norse mythology. We're gonna just write about different mythologies and the sort of adversary for all of, you know, the different mythologies, because I feel like Christianity is like a dead horse that has just been beaten repeatedly by bands
Yeah.
in our genre.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
and I
going back to us changing it up and trying something new and fresh. This is more or less like a giant concept, an idea.
All right.
Yeah,
1
Satan
second,
as an
boys.
idea
I'll be right
rather than
back.
a person.
Sorry. So as we continue, hopefully, that will be the only second pause per se. Kind of diving back into it, what I like is that, Donovan, I remember you discussing this type of narrative and lyrical roadmap, right, with DT. I'm glad that is indeed coming back. I remember you talking about that way back in the day, just like not just attacking Christianity, or not even attacking Christianity, but like acknowledging the evil and the darker elements of the narratives that people throughout history have written, acknowledging the darker sides of those mythos. Um, I am excited to hear that you are indeed continuing that roadmap, lyrically speaking, and I look forward to all future installments of I Satan regarding that manner.
Yeah, I'm glad that with Disembodied Tyrant that Blake is still carrying on the like the whole shtick of like not just attacking Christianity, because now the new EP that they're putting out is the Poetic Edda, which is basically, if you didn't
Nourse.
know, yeah, but the Poetic Edda is the name of the Bible for Vikings,
Yep,
which is
because there's the
fucking,
Poetic Ada and there's the Prime Ada.
yeah, it's so fucking cool.
I love it. I cannot wait for that EP to release. And one of my intentions, among others this year, to kind of like really boost the podcast is to have both Disembodied Tyrant and Synestia in one call and talk about the split EP. So hopefully that ends up working out, but we'll see what happens. So we have that
That'd
back
be
of the
very
book
cool.
summary. I agree. I don't think anybody's done that before with just two bands in one session because they happen to do a split EP. I don't think anybody's done that before. So I definitely look forward to the opportunity if it comes into fruition. With that back of the book summary in mind for the Eld Teltament, I wanted to go ahead and do a brief track by track lyrical explanation per se, with Donovan's help regarding all of these tracks and their respective features, starting with Dream Eater.
Okay, so you want to do a lyrical like run through?
Yes,
So
please.
so do you want me to just tell you what it's about, or do you want me to go line by line?
Just go ahead and tell me what the song's about.
Okay, well, Dream Eater is something I read. So back before King James became a priest and wrote the Bible, wrote his first edition of the Bible, he wrote a book on demonology and witchcraft called The Book of Demonology and Witchcraft, back in 1680, however the fuck.
He played both
And,
sides.
yeah, literally. And well, it was mainly to hunt witches and demons. It was a
Oh,
book to hunt witches and demons. And what he did was that if you say we're a kid, and he did this to children and adults alike, basically what he did was that if you were having like sleep convulsions, which is normal now, but you know, because we know what it is, but
yeah.
back then you're shaking in your sleep or having nightmares,
Witchcraft.
witchcraft, you're possessed or something like that. So what he would do is that he would send people like to die, like pretty much burned at the stake or something like that. If you're a witch or a child, he'd say you possessed by Satan. He's shaking in his sleep. He's having,
Pardon me.
bless you,
Thank you.
but yeah, he's shaking in his sleep. This, that, and the third. Something's wrong with him, and then they would send you off to be murdered. So Dream Eater is basically a perspective from the people who were cast to die because they had a nightmare.
Sweet.
And so I can wrote about King James as if he was the eater of dreams. Like, you're not allowed to dream or else you will die.
All right.
Yeah, so that's
And
how I wrote
of
Dream.
course, it's probably in respect to your prior project teaming up with Blake Mullins and shit. But was there any specific reason behind wanting to get Blake Mullins featured on Dream Eater?
I like his songwriting.
Oh yeah, it's songwriting.
He's great. But yeah.
Oh shit. Hold on. You guys seem to be on my speakers. Okay. Headphones. Cool. I can hear you again.
Yeah, Blake's songwriting is just unbelievable. I mean, me and him being best friends, I've already heard most of the Poetic Edda. I've heard the new single that they're releasing on the 26th. I've heard, I think, another song on the EP that hasn't come out yet, but I'm telling you right now, Blake is one of the greatest songwriters to ever, like, and I birthed that. I created a monster because literally he I hit him up and was just like, "Hey, you do good knocked loose covers. You want to write music for my band?" And he was like, "Sure, I've never written music before." And this is the shit he's producing 2 years later. Like, it's
Yeah,
honestly ridiculous. It's
he's a
ridiculous.
modern age Mozart.
I can agree
Literally.
with that, man. Especially like a part of me wants to manifest trying to get him into my own project as like a like a lead guitarist or something, as well as a backing vocalist, because I want his spectrum in my music so bad, but I know that he's like so incredibly preoccupied by DT and other endeavors, including
Yeah,
mixing and
and
mastering
it's
for
the
other
thing
bands.
though is that like his ethic is honestly unbelievable. Like the guy literally well, I don't know if I can put this out there, but the guy literally like he is one of the most hardworking people I've ever known in my life. Like that guy, so
He's dedicated.
he's so dedicated. So I don't even think you guys know this, Alex and Matt, but for after the EP was written and all that stuff, the dude literally his hamstrings got disconnected from his thigh because of how like he was sitting in his chair for 16 hours a day mixing and writing music for DT and whatever. So, you know,
Jesus
that's why I
Christ.
kind of
Jesus.
that's why I kind of like joke on Matt a little bit for this
Yeah.
20-second snippets is because like he admires Blake so much, but he hasn't
I
gone through
do.
the mental breakdowns needed to be the mental breakdowns and the 12 hours of swamp ass needed to be Blake.
Oh man.
Seriously. No, that's awesome. And shout out to Blake Mullins. He's always been a great dude. And I hope to host him and the rest of DT on the podcast as soon as possible once again regarding their new EP. But track 2, we have Death Preacher. Obviously, Abiotic has been around for a long time, but real quick, what is going on here lyrically?
Death Preacher is another song based like really based in on the Bible. We're just beating up King James pretty much with this EP is that so what he also used to do was is that in 16 around the 1690s when after he was already established as a priest and he already wrote his Bible, he preached to the masses of where was he? He preached to somewhere. I forget where it was, but he preached to somewhere, and then literally the day later, 85% of the population, or not the population, but 85% of the people who showed up to his speech died. And they say that his words is what killed them because he basically called a lot of people out, calling them non-believers and you're not doing this right, you're not killing enough kids,
Uh,
whatever. So he that's why I basically wrote Death Preacher is basically like whatever this guy says
yeah.
is fucking is gonna kill you if you
Yeah.
listen to it long enough.
Right. And what was the reason for I forgot the specific vocalist that you got from A
Travis
Travis?
Travis
Well,
Bartasek. I
sick.
got him because, dude, literally, like, Abiotic for me has encapsulated death metal in a deathcore sounding environment. Like, they're not deathcore, but they're it's close enough.
Yeah.
But the death metal side of it overpowers it just good enough to where it's like, okay, this is solid. And for I Satan wanting like attempting its first attempt at trying to be death metal. Thought
Yeah.
who better really? I don't because I had the option to get like a big deathcore vocalist on it, but we're not deathcore.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be. So
Right. That makes sense. Track 3, we have Stillborn Angel, which you were discussing the lore on this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and get any other commentary you had for it
well,
out into the universe.
I spoke on Stillborn Angel a little bit, but I want the other guys to speak on this as well because they
Yes.
still haven't told me their direct reactions when they read the lyrics. But I did write Stillborn Angel because it was a concept I just came up with was that what would happen if an angel somehow fell in love with God's creation, a human, and they ended up having a baby. So I took that as in, well, you're an angel, right? So you're a virgin, and this, that, and the third. So if you're having sex and getting pregnant without marriage, you're not divine anymore. You're not an angel anymore. So the baby is stillborn, which means that it died because it lost its divinity. It's an angel mother who's losing her divinity because she had sex. And so, but the lyrics go into way greater detail than that. And I want Alex and Matt to give me.
You should watch the lyric video when you listen to the EP. It
The
is
full
worth watching.
visualizer is on our YouTube channel, all with
Yeah.
lyrics and
Sick.
subtitles.
Badass. And
Yeah, what Alex, I just want to hear it for the sake of me. Alex, Matt, what was your thoughts?
Dude, the whole idea of it, I'm just like, where and how do you come up with this? And like, why is it so fitting and brutal? Like, I don't
It's
get
like
it.
gross,
I'm
but like,
I'm not a
yeah.
lyricist or anything. Like, I literally just hit things, make noise, I smack tubs. So it's like I can't come up with this kind of stuff. Like when it comes to me writing lyrics, it's awful. Like I've had a school project where I had to write lyrics about um
Taxes, wasn't it?
taxes. Yes, that's right. I showed you, didn't I?
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
remember that.
Also a secret King Malice song because I had Joseph help me with the guitars for that, and I did the vocals over top of it. But yeah, no. I don't know if that's ever gonna drop on my YouTube, but hey, maybe one day I might just say, ooh, publish, and
yeah.
maybe it'll go somewhere. But it's funny though. It's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Matt, did you have any commentary for it?
Pretty much same as Alex. It's gross. It's
Brutal.
whatever.
It's oh my
Yeah.
God, dude.
It's my attempt to jab at Infant Annihilator. Like you
That's
think
fair.
you can write fucked up lyrics? We show you some.
Let me
Yeah.
show you something.
And you know what though? It's not fucked up for the only the sake of being fucked up, which is why it's not like it's disgusting with substance. Like it's a story being told. I'm surprised that I fit an entire story of a birth to something like that in a
Yeah.
full song.
And
But
now there's people putting lore behind it, and now it's just spawning something else. It's incredible.
Might as well be your mascot eventually.
I guess so. We're gonna have to figure something out.
Right. Well, the last song we have on this EP, Mr. Parchment, would be God Equals Dog.
okay, well, God Equals Dog is one of my favorite Behemoth songs ever. And Matt hadn't listened to Behemoth much, so at first we were gonna do Lucifer, which we still might do it later on in the
That could
future
be fun. Yeah.
as a cover for Behemoth, but from Behemoth. But I put him on to Behemoth, and I was like, yeah, you should check these guys out. What are you doing? You want to write black and death metal? Listen to Behemoth just to get some inspiration. And he was like, dude, this God Equals Dog song is fucking ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna do it.
Let's cover it.
And yeah, to be honest, that song might be like our second best on the EP. I'm not gonna lie, because all of us
Yeah.
coming together, we really made it our own song. Like The
Yeah, it's
vocals, the symphonics, the drums, we turned it into our own song.
Fuck yeah,
yeah,
dude.
because like I already knew that song on drums, but I didn't know it down to like note for note, like you normally would for a cover, getting it kind of close. I knew the basic like structure of it, and I was like, what if I took this song and made it more brutal, added more double bass, more blast beats,
Ooh.
and then we were all like, what if instead of that build up to nothing, we just added a breakdown and made it stupid. And we
Ooh.
were like, okay, and like you said, you haven't heard it yet, but when you do hear it, you'll know. But it's like it's really a one of a kind cover, and honestly, I'm not a fan of doing covers for like bands and stuff because my first band, Columbus Day, throwing it all the way back to beginning, um, we did like cover sets and we played shows and did only covers. Like we've been sitting on an EP for 4 years now and just haven't had the time to release it, finish it, whatever. We keep changing stuff. We just need to sit down and finalize it. But it's like I try to avoid doing covers, but like this is one of those covers, and I'm like, yeah, this is something special. Like this is
Sick.
something like if we were to have a show or whatever, hypothetically speaking, and everyone's like, one more song, we can throw that song on there and probably play
Definitely.
it.
Definitely.
That's
It's
awesome.
just
Great closer.
it's still a cover, but it's one of a kind, and we've made it our own. And we've
And
gotten people saying like better Behemoth or we wish Behemoth sounded like you guys and stuff like that. And it's just it's cool. It's cool to
and
hear.
as far as I'm concerned too, when I was first understanding what covers were, I kind of thought that's what they were. Was like grabbing a song and adjusting it slightly to make it your own. I didn't realize that people would go like note for note or note by note with their
Yeah.
covers. And for example, Dickie Allen covering Sun Eater. I was hoping that starting out that song they would have just like very very filthy, just like just really creepy and just like skin like goosebumps and all that type of shit, because it would be like a creepier version of Sun Eater, and then Dickie Allen would put his vocals over. So for that matter, that cover kind of disappointed me. Other than that,
Yeah.
vocally speaking, it sounded great, but I was like, you could have made it a little bit more Infinite Annihilator, especially because it was like Dickie Allen of Infinite Annihilator covering Sun Eater, originally performed by Lorna Shore. I'm like, oh, does that mean the rest of the band's gonna get on this? And then no, like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into that. Like I'm like, cool, yeah, Dickie Allen vocals, but what about Dickie Allen? What about Infinite Annihilator version of Lorna Shore? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, I look forward to whatever covers you guys decide to do in the future that end up being an encore song. I think people should be doing that a lot more too, just to say, yeah, this is a band that we all love and we weren't here first. So it's like, why not? But
It's like paying homage.
it's paying homage. Exactly. With that being said, shunk, that'll be the end of the under the skin session. As we're preparing to wrap up the session for good, just kidding. For good. Does that mean they're not coming back? No. Wanted to kind of get you guys' viewpoints and opinions on your future roadmap and anything you want to announce immediately, other than being in the writing process for a full length, an hour long full length at that. Like, what the fuck? Um, do you guys have anything else planned for the rest of this year for I Satan?
Um, no,
Um,
unfortunately.
yeah. So
Don could explain it
Oh
because
what's
well,
it's
going on?
yeah.
so we're so I'm leaving for boot camp for the Navy soon,
Right.
October 24th. And so we've been in the writing process of that now, but mostly we're preparing for when I leave. And I'll be coming back January 2nd.
Okay.
And we'll maybe more than likely have a singer. But
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll, we'll
Gotcha.
we'll we'll still be working on stuff, but we'll have to patiently wait for Dom to come back, get settled, and then we'll get back into the flow of things.
Well, I
And
mean,
yeah,
the sort of order we got now is that pretty much we're working on stuff now, but when I leave is like really like when they're gonna lock in, I'm assuming, and work on stuff. And then when I come back, all I should really have to do is maybe track vocals, put an input here and there, and then we'll be
yeah,
ready to ship it. So
Cool.
I
Yeah,
mean,
sounds good.
yeah.
it
Oh,
should help giving Matt 3 months of not pestering him over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. I don't want another like burnout or whatever it's called of when I had
Yeah,
like with that with
and
Nah,
that's
Devil's Due.
you,
That
fair.
if you
was
want to be,
yeah.
if you got it, Blake has burnt out literally into a sizzle. You have to. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
mold
taking
you
my
into.
time, but by the time Dawn is back, I should have most of it, like, or a good chunk of the album done. And so
Badass.
from that point, just filling in the blanks and should be easy from there.
Sweet. I look
yeah.
forward to it. Well, gentlemen, Alex, Matt, Donovan, thank you for your time tonight on the Anatomy Crosscast with Donovan returning, Alex, Nourse, and Matt making their first appearance, which it's always nice to get in touch with some new developing faces in the scene. Always a pleasure, always an honor. Yeah, in the near future, we will be back with I Satan returning to the Crosscast to go ahead and talk about this album. Until then, everybody, thank you for watching and have a great night.